Welcome back, lovelies, to Rivals Fight Night here. Of course, big shout out to our friends over at Intel. Once again, if you want to sign up, get yourself an awesome Intel CPU, why don't you head on over rivalsfightnight.com. Check the widget down below. Do all the stuff. It's super easy. Trust me, it will take you not even like 2 minutes of your time, and you could do it in another tab. Look at that technology. What a time to be alive. Am I right, everyone? Of course, from the current man yapping at you, I'm Golden Boy. You can see because the nameplate underneath my name. You got Achilleos and Vast here as well. Achilleos and Vast. Ooh, I actually like that. Achilleos and Vast. That's going to be your
Achilleos
new.
and Vast.
And
you're no longer a Vast. You are.
No, you're Vast. You're just Vast.
You're just very wide. You're large. You're, you know.
Shout out.
I feel like I'm taking all the hits. I'm taking all the hits in the duo.
No,
in the duo name here. It's me taking all the guts.
Unquantifiable.
I just called you Vast. You are a vast man. I don't know. I think it's sounds cool. Anyway, guys, we got a great matchup that's going to kick off here. The finals, rematch finals of Shroud Gauntlet. Envy going up against 100 Thieves. And last time they played against each other, Envy got the 3-0, but this time around, things are a little bit different. We're not doing the Fearless Draft format. It's not late into the evening, so fatigue shouldn't be an issue here, although Envy did just play. So we'll see how this pans out. But let's, what team we're going to start off with here first? Let's see. Why don't we throw a graphic up? Let's see what we got here. It's Envy. All right, Envy's first. And we just saw this team take it to Shroud X. Of course, Shroud X filling in last second, but you can't, you still got to call it what it is. They looked absolutely phenomenal. Cal and Speedily, that combination has been deadly avast, and it feels like this NV team is finding their rhythm with these new additions.
They are. I mean, they're in the groove. The groove. And not only they found it, they're deep in the rhythm now. I mean, at this point, they're locked in. Like, they're extremely locked in. I think Envy is a team to beat, and I mean, they are now also one of the only teams that are physically on location, like boot camping, obviously, for DreamHack. So this is something that a lot of other squads haven't gotten. The only other teams are teams like 100 Thieves, right? 100 Thieves, they were together. They got to go to the practice facility for them and use the Tostito bathrooms or whatever the name whatever the name of it is. And so I think overall, like, I do think that this is a yeah, they got those, they're like the Totino's pizza roll, like bathrooms or something, like whatever it is.
Really?
There's no shot.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I'm not kidding. It's a
good sponsor. It's a good sponsor because let me tell you, it's true. No, that's okay. Interesting stuff there. And then that's where they can have their conversations in team meetings.
Now, I don't know if it's the bathroom that's specifically sponsored by Totino's. I'm going to be honest.
I mean,
I think it's like a practice.
Totino's pizza rolls, I inevitably end up in a bathroom. So it makes sense. It's just, look, food goes in.
We're not getting into Totino. That's fair.
No.
Okay.
Wait, I want to be very clear here. That's not an insult, okay? That's a feature. Oh, no. All right? It's a part of the experience. And
that's just the human experience.
Exactly. It's just a human experience, baby, one way or another. So there you have it. Envy. They're playing on location, and it's going to be problematic for their opponents here. They are your RFN defending champs. You got 100 Thieves, and this team, well, when we saw them on RFN Achilleos, they looked phenomenal. But honestly, across the board, you got a lot of players here. I mean, Terra in particular, I really, really like what that individual can do and just the variety that he provides for this team with all the different heroes he could play.
I mean, across the board, it's a very stacked lineup that you have here for the side of 100 Thieves. But yeah, I mean, you could, as we're talking about, there's all these other factors you can kind of take into account. You can make caveats for the Shroud Invitational, but at the end of the day, they're going to be looking for revenge. They're going to be looking to not have Envy get the win, but especially not in a sweep fashion. And I think that coming in fresh, being able to watch Envy from that opening set, they're going to have a better idea of like, okay, this is how Envy's looking to try to, play things out ahead of the patch. This is what maybe we can expect as we get into the draft. And then, they have a little bit of added time to try to piece together their strategy.
And speaking of the draft of Vast, this is going to be 100 Thieves' first time that we get to see them with the Ignite draft. And as we saw with VP, they had a different interpretation from what Team One and their opponents were actually figuring out on their end, right? When Peps and them had played earlier. So 100 Thieves could have a different read on the situation. And given what you know about the team, do you think you're going to be seeing some, I would think we're going to be seeing meta picks for sure, like Human Torch going right away. But do you think they're going to try and prioritize to protect some of these heroes that maybe their duelists might want to prefer?
Definitely. I think this is a team that's also been, I would argue, like sort of resistant to some of the new meta choices to a degree, where they've definitely embraced Emma Frost, but they've really loved to say on their duelist side, like, let's keep playing Winter Soldier rather. Let's keep playing Hela. Those are two picks that they really like to trend towards overall. So I do think it may be for them that they're going to try to like potentially, and also Groot. I mean, they want to play Groot, so they're fine to potentially like, let's protect a Groot, or like, let's just not ban it right away. I think that's one of the things that for them, they might want to match Envy in those departments, right? Of playing Groot, protecting Winter Soldier, keeping Hela on the field here, where Envy maybe they played a little bit more esoteric, more flyer oriented. And 100 Thieves are like, no, we want to have the Hela, we want to have Delina on the Hela potentially, but they're still fine to play a lot of other picks, to play some Wolverine, to play some other things, but those are definitely something that's going to be a bit different for them compared to, let's say, what Shroud X did.
Yeah, we're going to see some uniqueness with this one for sure, Achilleos, and however 100 Thieves have their read on it. What do you think so far of the Ignite format? 'Cause this is new, and this is what we're going to be seeing in MRC.
Yeah, I think it's great, honestly. I've really been liking this quite a bit, just having that added flexibility, being able to really work around what you think your opponent's strengths are, protect the things that you really want to bring to bear, rather than, just fully excluding or fully securing picks in the set. I think it's a really interesting and creative draft style. The Fearless one, like I said, I still want to check that out, because I think that, Rivals is at a point where you have more than enough characters to be able to use Fearless. So I'd be curious if that's something that kind of cycles back around for other tournaments in the future as well, because I think Fearless, we've been seeing it cropping up more and more across a bunch of other different esports. And I think that overall it's settled in really well. But I'm really liking the Ignite setup, but it still does lend itself to just seeing Human Torch getting double banned.
yeah. But hey, I'm okay with Human Torch getting double banned here, because he's kind of really strong. He's a powerful hero right now.
He is very strong, and like I said, my current theory as well for a lot of these squads too is that, especially because Envy has played a lot of Human Torch in the past and they've been pretty good at it, is I think these teams are preparing for the new patch, where there might be some changes coming through, especially with the team ups. So maybe we're gonna start practicing a little bit differently. Is my particular theory that's ongoing for that right now. Is okay, Emma Frost now gone for both, so it's not technically a global, well, it is global now because both of them has banned it, so there is not going to be an Emma Frost on the field. And group protected row squad, which is something that we talked about a bit earlier. 100 Thieves, they definitely like to prioritize playing a bit more Groot than some of the other squads, and Envy obviously they've been pretty comfortable with Window on the Groot, so probably going to be seeing a little more Groot v Groot.
Oh, this is matching pretty much beat for beat here.
Some mirror matchups in my Rivals fight night?
Not at all. We'll see, though, what Envy elects to protect here, and it's going to be the Loki. So they'll keep that Loki in play. And on the other side, 100 Thieves. Now, this is where you get a little interesting, where things kind of shake up a little bit, right? And the Adam Warlock is going to go, so you're not going to really get that Star-Lord revive. Mantis revive, not going to be a factor there either. But Loki is going to get protected.
Adam Warlock ban. It might just
be Adam Warlock.
Be mirrored the whole way down.
Envy doesn't like to play a lot. They don't play that much triple res from what I can remember, and I don't think they've typically, like, no one really loves playing into it that much often. Like, it is a kind of a frustrating comp at times to play into, just because how long the fights can run, and also how so many threats you have to deal with, especially with the changes to Adam Warlock, where he's getting more live stream up for the critical hits. So, I mean, it might just be a full mirror across the board for these squads. I mean, depends on the map, obviously. But these teams definitely have I would say, a little bit more similar style comparatively to, something like Shroud X and Envy.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not that similarity will work out to the favor of Envy, who've already gotten a couple of reps in here and only seem to be getting better with this, with speedily being added to the rotation. Meanwhile, 400 Thieves, my big takeaways when I was watching those guys were really like how well they play. Like, firstly, you had a Vinny who, Vinny was just, the amount of times you were seeing that combo of TTK and Vinny shine on the Vanguards might be the possibility here. But of course, though, as we see Cal still sticking with that Hawkeye. Okay, fellas, let's see how this plays out. Floor is yours.
All righty.
They must be loving it.
Thank you very much, GB. I mean, and why would they not after how it all went? Standard Jeff opener. Just get the team boosted out the gate here. As, yep, Cal, you're with this speedily with that storm. So 100 Thieves again, opportunities to watch the previous series, anticipate this, and now look to counteract it. They do have Delana, of course, with that Hela to try to do so.
And I do think also, you know, with their reliance on the rather go to Hawkeye here, I think it's also just something they're prepping for 2.5. But we can talk about that later because right now Envy just continuing the pressure, do a little poking here, just letting the storm do her work. As Cal gonna find one immediately. Oh boy, that's a big pick.
SJB taken down. Well, that should be the cap, just about ready to come through. A little bit of a contest. 100 Thieves trying to maintain control, but ultimately have to backpedal, and Envy
very nothing burger
go ahead
fight.
With the first lockdown.
Kind of a nothing burger fight there. Kind of just both squads just looking at each other. Cal gets a pick, and everyone's like, okay, we're gonna leave now. We're just gonna wait. 100 Thieves are going to be holding on to the God of Mischief, so they built out a little early off the poke that's coming out here because Envy is going to be putting out a lot more damage just because of this aura of thunder that's out in the storm. So now Envy holding on to the point, just making sure they're trying to just poke, maybe behind another pick. 100 Thieves on it into the point.
Yep, bit of an isolation here. Onto window, nothing that he wasn't used to after the previous series. Does manage to escape, backpedaling, and now just sending down the prison, and that's immediately going to be a terrible picked apart as the rest of the team ends up getting it destroyed. It's all a little reply here. Envy saying, oh, you think you're starting the fight? No, no, no.
So Envy popping two. Gonna have the Hunter side here. They're going up for Cal. So 4 ults in the bank. I mean, pretty equivalent ult banks right now. So for Envy, you can feel really confident here because you can play it slow, control the chokes, go for the poke. 100 Thieves, the answer here. Okay, I was about to say, like, if you're going to stick on this, they need to maybe swap. Okay, they're going to stay. They're going to go to the storm. They're like, okay, let's have a double flyer v flyer, get some aura of our own. A little bit of an aura trade going on here. Not aura loss or gain, but rather just an aura neutral situation. A net neutral. Always good. Yeah, very net neutral, right. I'd say. Very, very net neutral.
Trying to push forward Nero. Some early damage going to be suffered there. Live here for the moment. It's the meteor ram going in deep, but not finding much purchase efforts to the side of TTK. Now Kraken going to be drawn out. Up and over the top goes terrible, but Nero, rather, it's going to be Month with the dupe there on the ultimate. Just goes ahead and keeps everybody covered up. Storm into the back. Just going to go ahead and wreak some havoc here with that Hurricane. Shafik does manage to get taken down. Vinny with a trade on to Speedily, but that's the only casualty he really suffered thus far. Blue's getting juggled around just a little bit, but he's got the rest of the team behind him. 100 Thieves are staved off, and that is going to be a perfect opening round here. Krakoa going to the way of Envy.
And Envy played, I mean, we talked a lot, I think, in their match versus Tradex, like, oh, they're backline, they're duelists. But once again, always something else is so strong about this team and something that's really, especially with the addition of Window, I think kind of anchoring this lineup now, is how good the Vanguard line is too, and how clutch Kaluj can be, in particular, like finding that pick with the Meteor through the invisible boundary. So important there for your Magneto player to be kind of one of those factors that can burst through all that healing. So it's a good find. It opens it up. And Envy just playing this very slow style, right? I don't want to say they're playing extremely explosive. They're playing like this very slow style where they want to trade ults effectively, wait for picks, and then just like come back in with a storm ult later. And it's something that's a little bit different, I think, that we've seen from a lot of teams where there's so much like death brawl, so much divey aspects in the current meta. Envy playing a lot slower, I think, around this Hawkeye Storm currently. And it's paying dividends.
Really is, and it's all just a bit of a snowball from that one opening pick from Cal. See if he's going to be able to find another one here. If Thieves can dodge the arrows. Boost out, and do have a lot of changes here for 100 Thieves. So Cloak and Dagger into the mix back over onto the Hela, but it's not for Delana. They're going to be bringing that Psylocke out here, so a bit more of a dive focus with hitting on that Captain America as well. They're going to try to do what Shroud X was unable to do, which is get on top of Cal and actually find the picks.
I like the idea a lot here too, because a lot of teams have been prioritizing Cloak and Dagger with the Terra Cape just to like get vulnerability, so you can burst down a target really quickly, especially like the Groot, maybe even if you can just find them, but not if you're losing picks very early to Cal.
Yeah, well, it's going to be terrible this time around, ending up getting it first blooded. Psylocke going to be noted. Dash away out towards safety. Delana does manage to stay alive here for the moment, but is very much noted on that flank. Clear out on some of the dupes here. And then ultimately, it's Envy once again in firm control to start.
And you really need to be on the lookout here for SJP to just like hit this vulnerability, this purple vulnerability, the Terra Cape. That's kind of like going to be the go signal a lot for the 100 Thieves, because they're just trying to just make sure we can set up as, okay, Freedom Charge going to be used, get a lot of the movement speed and the bonus health to the squad, just treat it as another strategy ult there for 100 Thieves.
Taking a while to try to close that gap. Delana opening up with the ult there. cutting through, but Nero's ultimate widely mitigating a lot of it there, so Delena not able to find too much value on the back end. Now, Prison goes out from window, locks him in for the Meteor M to go ahead and get the slam dunk, as SJP and Delena will both get taken down. Looking for a little bit more here. Just point blanking with the arrows, trying to get this elimination. It will be speedily to come away with it there, as Harvey does get taken down, and TTK is getting staggered. This is brutal. Oh dear God! Show some mercy.
They're running. I mean, oh Lord, he's running. He's going off the edge finally, but that's I mean, that's an insane stagger. It's like 15,
so
20%.
much time bought.
That's a 15-20% stagger, at least in terms of time bacon. Again, Kaluj, I have to call out, gets value with the Meteor M through the support ults there for 100 Thieves. That's so important, again, for your Magneto to be getting that sort of value. This Cal just, okay. If he had hit that, I would be like, okay, wait a minute, sus? Like,
yeah.
we're gonna have to maybe pause this one a bit. Just do it like admin, ref, do something. But right now,
Isak, hello.
Yeah, Envy still in control of the point, gonna have 2 ults. Selena again trying to get behind. And Terra, I mean, trying to find some sort of flank, just been pretty quiet so far on the Hella. Both these duelist picks for Thunder Thieves just not finding a lot of value.
Still just needs so much more pressure to go in. Delana just cannot get this done by themselves, and Vinny was held at bay. It's looking like back-to-back perfect rounds. This guy's death is not going to be contesting much of anything. Does get some good, decent damages. CTK, okay, comes away with 2 kills. Gives them an opportunity to at least get this flip and get some percentage built up. Still, though, presence from Envy on the point, but Window not quite going to be able to hold this one out, so the flip is there. So 100 Thieves in control, not going to be back-to-back perfects, not going to be, you know, going out without a fight.
The caster curse already. You brought it here.
What can I say?
It's immediately, but Envy, I mean, they did a good job. I mean, 99, so now in 100 Thieves have to play perfect, right? Because not only do you have to win every fight, but you have to win it without over-investing your ults. And that's like the other problem, too, is you're playing against 2 different timers, both the bank and your ult bank. So currently Envy just going to be looking for the recontest. They're going to have 5 ults on the board here. I mean, knowing Envy, they're probably just going to commit. They're just going to commit because they have the ult tracking. They know 100 Thieves committed a lot there for the last fight. So they're going to move in here pretty aggressively.
Probably just send it.
Yeah.
Oh, they get Delana out of that stealth. Dash over to the side. Does manage to go ahead and avoid these follow-up arrows. So kill not going to be coming through quite just yet. Survives that ultimate on the side lock about to be online. Vinny going with the rush as Harvey just managed to find one. Speedily going to be taken down. Meteor M looking for the drop down, but Nero again just going ahead, hiding the team away here within the veil, keeping them protected, answering Meteor M out. Kaluj unable to find too much of anything there. A lot of ults going to be exchanged. Prison still online for Window. Only one to really speak of at the moment here for the side of Envy is Delana opening up once again, trying to see if this time they can get a little bit more value. SJP going to be taken down. Nero does end up getting traded. 1-for-1 though, as far as the back line is concerned. Envy, that overtime starting to bleed down. 100 Thieves lost control, and Delana is now picked apart as well as terrible. Things getting worse and worse here for the side of 100 Thieves. A little bit of occupation on the point, but they just do not have the throughput on the heels. And that will be that 2-0 eventually coming through as Envy open up looking for yet another sweep.
And I think 100 Thieves here, the swaps were cool. I like the ideas. I'm like, okay, we're going to use the Terror Cape, get vulnerabilities. We're going to split. We have the Captain America as well to give us a little bit more pressure. But Envy, just so good at protecting the backline, protecting Cal. And also Cal is just hitting every headshot. I mean, Cal is just like absolutely doming people when they go for the engage. It's truly disgusting. His head
on a swivel the whole time.
Yes, he's like, watching the whole time.
Always moving. So like you never had an opportunity for Delena to like actually get in there and do anything because he constantly was just sussing it out and he never really needed to leave past the area where he was already posted up to begin with because 100 Thieves were never in a position to challenge because the back line was so well protected. Oh man, it was so well played. Everything that Envy did there, Avast, I loved it.
They're just, I mean, they're pulling out another look for them. This is a look that they didn't even necessarily use for the Shroud Gauntlet for some previous Rivals Fight Nights. And again, I feel like this is, it's scary because this is like, Hawkeye isn't buffed, but he's getting buffed again in Season 2.5, which will be the patch that will play on, you know, kind of moving forward. And I mean, this is just insanity. It's just truly insanity. They're going to pull out this look already, potentially, before that buff has even gone live. So Envy potentially leading the wave.
Yeah, they really are. Before we move on, though, Want to let everyone know we're really close to 300 entries on our Intel giveaway. If you're watching the show right now, you're enjoying what we're doing over here. The easiest way for you to support us is to let the people who are, supporting this event know that you care about them and what they are doing for us. Do you see how that works out? So anyway, all you got to do is go on to rivalsfightnight.com. You scroll down, you click on the little widget there. It takes you to the gleam.io website. And all you do is you tick the little boxes. I literally just did it. It's a couple of seconds. Don't worry, if I win, it's not a big deal. But because we're not going to win. But I did the whole thing just to see how easy it was. So this way, I'm not lying to you guys. Okay, it's so simple. All right, so just go there, do it, sign up right now, and you'll be good to go. Also, Twitch subs will get a bonus on the entries as well. You get an extra 5 tickets on your entry. So if you're subscribed to the channel, maybe you just got a brand new gifted sub courtesy of Finzi or what was it, Davis. Then you might be covered and good to go. All right, NV up in this one, 1-0. Achilleos, what does 100 Thieves need to do now as we get ready for map 2?
Be concerned is maybe the answer that I would
okay. There's some feedback. Yeah, okay.
Look, it's an opening map. Playing control. At the end of the day, you can obviously bounce back from this. They're going to have their map selection. They can go to where they're going to find their strengths and where the strengths of the comp from Envy maybe aren't quite as pronounced. The problem is, for me, you had time to kind of look at this and try to dissect it, and it's not even on the buff patches.
But they did, though.
Avast is talking about.
They looked at it,
and still look so good.
Yeah. Oof. That's the rough part.
So for me,
about
I don't know. Also, what is it? I think that especially if you're going to be playing like a Vanguard or a tank in any game, maybe don't have 3 letters as your name, because TTK getting staggered like that, it just made me, it threw me back to the days of FRD getting absolutely bullied. And I'm like, maybe it's just having 3 letters be your name. Maybe that's just the punishment. That could be what it is. It's just a curse, and it leads to getting staggered and bullied.
If you're going to use just letters for your name, just do 4 or 2. Although most websites don't allow you to
3
put
is the curse
2
number.
would be hard. Yeah,
2 would be a little difficult.
Not seeing that too often overall, so I do think that's not going to be possible. And I don't think the pain ends here for a degree for 100 Thieves, because Yggdrasil Path, we just saw them play Envy play against Shroud X. They looked really good on this Hawkeye comp there as well. Very long sight lines to deal with. This is the Hella map in many ways. Yggdrasil Path, one of the best Hella maps. So if 100 Thieves want to try to force that again, I feel like when we look at this, we talked a lot about the dive wasn't happening. It was also a really, really quiet game for Terra. Who was playing. And now, granted, Delane has typically been the Hella player for this squad, but Terra can play it.
Terra's been stepping up.
Yeah, lately. He's been looking great. He's definitely putting a lot of flexibility. I think for 100 Thieves, it's now a question of, okay, if you know that Hawkeye might be coming out again, we need to make sure those duelists aren't going to remain quiet here, because the duelists just felt like they weren't getting a lot of value there for 100 Thieves.
Oh, man. All right, well, here we go.
Gone again.
Oh, wait, well, what do you know? What are the chances?
We should probably, should we even call it out at this point when they just global ban?
I think we should whatever. Just accept
Just remove a ban from everybody.
Yeah.
And no one will play Human Torch. This is basically the way to go. I think this is I think unfortunately for 100 Thieves, likely to end up following a somewhat similar trajectory to what we had seen in the previous map. And it just feels like Envy's in such a strong position that somebody needs to innovate, but figuring out what that innovation is to stop the draft from just basically repeating and giving Envy exactly what they want is really difficult.
Well, there's an easy option. You can ban the Hawkeye.
I think Star-Lord, it might be a good option, but the problem is that you'd want that res back, right? You'd want Adam Warlock.
I mean, not necessarily. You can play it with you can play it without it, especially if you have Invisible Woman. Luna Snow typically is ideal because you want the Snowflake, but if you have Invisible Woman, you still have the Guardian Shields, you can make that work. I mean, to me, it just feels like the most obvious pick is well, if you don't want to play against Hawkeye, just ban the Hawkeye, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Just let's remove the Hawkeye. Obviously, it's not ideal to have to use a ban for that, but what else are you going to use it for here? If you feel like you're getting crunched and it's not working out. Now, it was only the first map. It is the first of 3. So maybe 100 Thieves is going to be cooking someone up here, because Envy, obviously, they're not going to swap up their bans. Their bans are looking essentially the exact same here. They're not going to really change anything too much.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of, does this end up being a Hawkeye ban to try to round it out? Because, I mean, if you do, even though you mentioned Avast Envy, not really a team that goes for, I was going to say goes for Adam Warlock. maybe you still want to take that off the table, but it will remain open for them. It's going to be Invisible Woman as the final ban.
Yeah, another like meta strategist that's really good. That's not a bad choice, you know.
I think it's actually a pretty good choice. I'm gonna be
Nero was getting big value.
Yeah, go ahead, son. Yeah, Nero was getting a lot of value.
He was denying a ton of those engagements from 100 Thieves just by simply putting up the ultimates. It was like, okay, you're gonna meteor him. Well, now you don't know where anybody is. You're gonna engage with a Psylocke. You can't see anything. So Nero was doing very well to counteract them. So I don't mind this as a target, but again, it's can you get on top of Cal? Can you shut down the Hawkeye?
Well, here's where I think the big brain portion comes out. With both Luna Snow and Invisible Woman gone, those are both the two best pocketers for flyers. And guess who's been playing a lot of flyers? It's Speedily. So if you don't have the strategist you need to necessarily hard pocket a flying composition here, right? Like probably the next best is you should have a Mantis, which you see Nero right now on the Mantis. We'll see if that actually comes to pass. But those are the two best in terms of enabling just flyers to get a lot of health, get a lot of sustain. So maybe that's 100 Thieves' option here is like, okay, instead of us targeting the Hawkeye, we're going to target the flyer comps for Speedily.
3, 2, 1.
Alrighty, well, back on to...
Yeah, well, nope, not quite.
I'm like, all right, GB, hope you didn't step away.
No, I'm right here. I was hoping the Widow pick was, wanted to see what would happen there.
I think it's going to be
well, it's probably still going to be happening. Yeah, it's opening shot. They have the Mantis, right? I do think it's probably going to be, or sorry,
just
that's rather on Envy. Yeah, that's just going to be a shot, I think, of the Mantis. Just get some of the allied inspiration, the damage boost from her, and then just make the swap off. Which, I mean, I guess we'll see what the, let's check our production chat. What's the issue here?
Yeah.
Nope.
Maybe.
So far, we're just seeing Tostino's jokes. There's a lot of Tostino jokes.
Photo of Tostino's pizza rolls.
Yeah, that's us doing work right there.
And I will say again, just in case, I don't want to cause any offense. So if anyone from 100 Thieves and especially Totino's is watching, I think they're delicious. I can't buy them in Korea. Totino's, if you want to hook me up, please, I will devour
a brother up. Look, years ago, I did a Totino's gig for Twitch, where only thing we had to eat on site was Totino's pizza rolls, and it was a great day. I had like a blast, and we were also on this mechanical bull that was actually a couch. We were on a couch that was on like a mechanical bull setup, and we're playing games and eating like pizza rolls and stuff while jumping around, and it was honestly one of the more entertaining gigs I've ever done. I jiggled a lot.
How many pizza rolls can you fit in your mouth while riding a mechanical bull?
Yeah, and then let me tell you, felt those pizza rolls when I got to the airport that night. Oh, that was still a story to this day that my wife likes to tell everyone.
ZP wants me to get called out. ZP's in the production chat trying to call me out here, but I will call him out. Yes, one of my former co-casters, Wolf, does have his own pizza brand, frozen pizza brand here in South Korea. They're not rolls. They're different.
You don't know about that?
It's not the same. They're not bite-sized. I can't shove 5 of them into my face at the same time.
It's a full-size pizza. Yeah, it's a Wolf pizza.
Yeah,
it's the Wolf American pizza, man, in Korea. Yeah. He's got that.
Oh, dude, Wolf has a food empire out here, GB.
Wait, what?
I said empire. He has three food
He's got
products.
3 products. He's got 3 products.
They have a budae-jjigae, which is the Korean military stew kit that you could buy. And then the thing that he wanted to do, because he was right, there's not really any good frozen pizza in Korea. He wanted to make a good option for frozen pizzas. So his company, they got together.
There it is.
Here's the photo.
He's got his face, yeah.
And bro, I gotta say, it's
crazy.
It's good. Like, it is genuinely good. I'm not trying to just shill for a friend. Like, I was like, okay, I would buy this in the States over a lot of other brands.
I'm so proud to see my friend do something so cool, and I had no idea. Wow, that was awesome. All right, well, let's go ahead and do something else that's cool here. Watch some Marvel Rivals. Fellas, take it away.
Thank you very much. All right, well, not sure what the issue was. Either way, it gets dealt with.
I saw it. Nero's headset died.
Nero's
headset died.
It's one of those.
Thank you, Vast, for starting the game.
Yep, cheers for that. I almost had my mouse die as well at the start of this one, but luckily I got my cord right here. Either way, onto the attack now. Still a little bit of a flyer, as we will have a Star-Lord coming out here for the side of Speedily, and he almost dies. Does manage to go ahead and cut back, though, limit testing a little bit.
He's tap dancing like the bullfrog, you know? He's about to go, hello, my baby, hello, what's up?
Hello,
to do that. 100 Thieves, though, I mean, they're moving forward. Gonna be holding strong here. And right now, Envy, I think when they're playing this player composition with Speedily, we talked about like, okay, they removed the 2 best strategists. If Speedily is able to stay up this whole time while getting pocketed, this is a really good omen for Envy.
Oh, but this is an ult being used there by Terra, and Vinny taken down. They at least do get the trade, but like the Legend now going to be invested here. Speedily looking for some eliminations, and that's going to be Harvey taken down, looking for a bit more. SJP dead by Kalush's hands, and all of them zoned away, as maybe it's another headset death. I don't know.
It's a great question. I mean, so far, if we're going to reflect upon it, though, I will say Speedily's getting this much value from Star-Lord without a Discord. And now it's a Discord problem, perhaps? Discord's going down? Okay. I'm not quite sure, but apparently we're starting back up again, so we're back. So all's well. Maybe, you know, it's just the Tech Pause Central, honestly. Currently just Tech Pause Central's Window. We're going to see Window walking on back here. What a point of view.
Yeah, great POV as the cart glides forward. Solid ult there from Speedily, just able to turn the tides and get the breakthrough. And immediately Terra, when you saw the swap now over onto the Winter Soldier, not going to be sticking with that Moon Knight.
Which is a dangerous pick. Very dangerous pick. It's something I didn't even have a chance to talk about because Moon Knight got buffed. You have a lot more ability to just like burst through people. It's something that Moon Knight's been really good at always with the hand of Khonshu. But into a flyer comp, not going to be that beneficial. Is Terra already down to Cal?
Yeah, and I kind of mentioned this, the Adam Warlock being left open. Do they play it? The answer was absolutely. And, well, Cal able to find the kill and immediately that's just going to be a trade up as Nero finds another. Delana has not been having a great day on the hell up. Right back into the spawn room, and similar scenes as point A, as Envy has all of 100 Thieves contained in a side room away from the point.
And nearly 6 ults here for Envy. 6 ults, about to be 6 ults over 100 Thieves, so relatively large ult fight coming up here. Retest gonna happen when he makes their way on out.
Coming over the top once again. Legend in play. Meter M dropped in, and that's just going to be Vinny dead to rights. No way to try to bail him out. Invisible Woman ultimate not really doing too much there. For the side of SJP is Tara trying to go for the resets here into the back line. Has a cow, and oh man, that's just going to be the double pump coming through as the Goddess of Death layered in on top. Helps find a little bit more. So finally, one team fight here for the side of 100 Thieves. They get some stability just in front of point B as the reses now start coming through at the same time though. Envy want to get right back over onto the cart. So in around the back, now having to fight their way out of the choke though is going to be maybe a little bit rough, but Cal does still have that res.
Yeah, I mean, they're really split here. Sure, we've essentially just set up with another fight. They've removed the ability to walk, pretty much the debuff of walking back response, but it saves them a lot of time right now. But they're pretty split, so they can't make it back in immediately. So they're going to have to use that cocoon, make it right back up. But 100 Thieves still on the point. Great fight for them, and Envy trying to walk on in. Also, the pressure here from the Starlight for Speedily.
They'll contain here for now. Some little chip damage coming through from the side of Envy. You can see these HP bars not finding too much stability on the side of 100 Thieves, but Delana helps peel one back as that is going to be Window taken down. Sedation going to be coming through is up and over the top with the Legendary once again. Speedily is able to deliver kill onto Harvey, and this time Envy are very much trading up. Res does come through from Delana. Put the Loki back into the mix. Has the dupe at the ready for the ult, but Vinny is getting whittled away at. Walled off here on the choke. The cap eventually comes through. So 4 minutes remaining for Envy for the final stretch here of Yggdrasil Path.
Who's dropping a eat there? So just a little friendly bants, and I feel honestly a little foolish. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, oh, they targeted the strategist. They removed Invisible Woman. They removed their slow. I said like, oh, Envy, they haven't played that much triple strategy. I'm like, wait a minute, Cal loves playing Adam Warlock. They love putting Cal in Adam Warlock because he does so much damage, and with those refreshes of the live stream, just so much healing now as well. As 100 Thieves having to back on up. Envy just chasing them down.
Has this changed your opinion on the draft?
Yeah, I think it has changed my opinion on the draft a bit, because I'm like, wait a minute, I forgot Envy loves they love triple strategists. They love this ability to play the res comps. And 100 Thieves finally able to make it out of spawn at least, and off a good force physics, gonna punish Speedily there a bit, who I believe will have a cocoon. No, maybe not. Yeah, there should be the cocoon for Speedily.
Seemed like it. Yeah, not being brought in. Either way, on the reaggress forward, looking to try to get some control. And this is going to be Window taken down as some resets here for Terra. Clock Legend once again going to be opened up. Speedily looking to try to go ahead and turn the tides of this fight. Terra down to a sliver, now going to be finished off as Nero was able to find the kill. Meteor M dropped in. The main's coming through, keeping them protected here for the moment. Speedily once again dead. Res back through. Adam Warlock things. There's Terra now going to be swapping over onto the Wolverine, trying to find some isolated picks, but speedily just driving in, dancing on their heads. Harvey caught up, eliminated. Goddess of Death up and over the top. The Terrible does manage to find one. Window going to be broken down, so Cart for now going to be halted in control here of 100 Thieves, but there's still 2.5 minutes to work with here for Envy.
100 Thieves, though, finally stabilizing the Strangling Prison really good. And Envy just poking, prodding here for a bit, but they're not going to be able to push without the Groot, and the fact they're being so aggressive right now is actually a little bit of a disaster for them because they're going to lose Month. They really need to start backing up here because this Groot is just putting so much forward pressure.
Terra just coming in on the flank. They're able to secure the kill onto Cal, so good amount of space once again afforded to 100 Thieves as we get some rollback on the carts. Still a ways to go before they get this into a bit more of a comfortable position on the defensive side.
But already looking a lot better.
Biding time.
Like a lot better compared to what we saw essentially earlier with Shroud X. Like, this is a comp that they feel really comfortable on. They love having Delina here to be able to play the Hela Terra on the Wolverine as Galactic Legend used.
Once again, having that at the ready, nearly getting the catch on Terra, makes a swift exit back over to safety, joining in with the rest of the team. As everybody now gathering in around the cart, but Cal going to be picked apart. Huge opening kill for Delina. As we see, both committed in. Try to obfuscate, and now Meteor M dropped down, but kill cannot be found. Pick is not there. Terra stays there for the moment into the back line, but Health Pack just playing around it. Speedily cannot find the kill fast enough. The reload costing it there as Delina stays alive. For now, cart control is still going to be maintained.
I think it Speedily has a Guardian Shield there that might have gone a little bit different than they didn't have. There's a woman as TTK gonna find Window, and again, just removing them. They're just gonna pop the Karmic Revival immediately here for Cal. Just like, we want our group back. We need him back.
Sends it. Speedily, there's the Cocoon able to bring him right back in. So still 6 players strong, just looking to try to stabilize these HP bars. Which has still been a bit of a struggle, despite the fact that they do have 3 healers here in the mix. Once again, up and over the top, Speedily desperately trying to find something to open up as there's the pop on the ult once again. Quickly going to be pinned down here onto the floor. Oh! Eliminated. Huge kill from Terra. What a map.
You do not see the anti-air Wolverine too often there to deny the Galactic Legend. You do not see that. And going to find another leap here as well. Just denying the bubble Kalush, getting caught on the walls.
Does manage to keep that shield raised, protected for the moment, and it's just going to be a bit of an unfortunate casualty there as Speedily caught up in the crossfire. Kalush now does get picked. As Terrible starting to take over the latter half here of this defense. 3 seconds remaining, still 2 players dead. Sun's on the 2, we count back into the respawn room. That is going to be a successful defense here, the final stretch for 100 Thieves. Envy, this time around, looking like they're not going to be able to complete the map. Portal does come in from Speedily, trying to get them back over here. They're rezzed in, but it's all to no avail. That'll be the cleanup and the denial on the finish.
I mean, that was some style points coming out for Terra. I mean, Terra just making sure to hit that, deny that value, which that was going to be the opener, right? Because like, sort of with the triple res comp, you're relying so much on the ebb and flow of like, okay, we're going to farm a lot of ults. We have a lot of sustain. We go for some flank pressure, and if someone goes down, it's fine. We have a Cocoon. Then Galactic Legend, rinse and repeat, and just finding that, deny it, so they didn't have any strategy, so it's up. They didn't have to commit anything. Just immediately lock that down. So 100 Thieves holding strong here for last on Eagerstill Path, and I mean, look at the final hits for Terra. 14 final hits, double the next highest there for Kalush. So I mean, just overall being kind of the difference maker again, and just 100 Thieves looking so comfortable on like this comfort comp for them, right? Of like the Wolverine, the Hela, you got a Groot, you got a Magneto. It's the 100 Thieves comp, man. I mean, this is their comp.
I mean, it's as many final hits as Speedily has eliminations at the end of it there. Very solidly done. However, not out of the woods yet. I mean, we did see the slow up on the approach in the previous series. Shroud X able to take the clock down. Envy made it to the end of the map. Then they pulled off a full hold on the defense. We'll see if that's going to be able to happen here. But this time around, obviously, comp's going to be a little bit different. They're not leaning into the Hawkeye. It's still going to be this Star-Lord.
The battle starts in 5.
Hey, 100 Thieves
3,
looking to
2,
be
1.
taking a map here versus Envy. Ideally be the first. The Shroud X could not do it. And obviously these squads, they've squared up a lot. Here recently, they've been staples of the North American scene. Just been sort of icons right now. Selena taking a little bit of poke here, gonna get healed up. And now we're here to the corner, the ever-present corner. Kilio is one of my favorite locations in every map of Marvel Rivals.
First corner. Well, we saw speedily living up to the name when it came down to the ult charge time. So quickly they're going to be able to cycle these through. Need to be able to have them maybe even more quickly than what we were witnessing previously. As Terra diving in, gets that over shield, does manage to go ahead and stay alive, dancing over the top. 22% left to go is already, it's going to be Harvey pulling the trigger here. Ultimate invested. Goes for the copy, and that's going to be Window taken down. Has been having a significantly rougher time here on this map compared to the entire first series. As Terra still a force to be reckoned with, looking to play anti-air once again, and with the help of Delana, they will get the alley-oop, and that is going to be a very fast push to A.
And Cal going down there late to Delana there, just making sure that they're continuing to deny, get some more staggers. And for 100 Thieves, they're looking really confident on this comp. It's something they've played a lot of in the past. It looks like we're going to get some more. They are going to find some more.
Already getting that kidnap. Window cannot survive. Terra is just an absolute menace. You hear him lobbed in here from Collusion, what feels like a bit of desperation, but it doesn't lead to anything at all. Card control cannot be found. In fact, has to lose out on that high ground position. Prison comes through from Vinny, locks him in. Terra diving forward, shield gets popped. And just to survive, pick not yet found, but Terra still alive means that there's still a lot of concern here for the side of Envy. But once again, coming through, speedily up and over the top, looking to try to whittle away at these HP bars, but you similarly have the Goddess of Death in play for Delana, just holding them back and finding the pick as Month goes down.
Karmic Revival used to bring Month back, but it's so aggressive here in the front. Everyone gets hooked out. It's just the double-edged sword again of the Karmic Revival, where you go for this, you're down the heals, you're down the, you don't even have the soul stream. You don't have the ability to just like lock them down. And so now 100 Thieves, they clean up everyone off that ult. They're going to take the stragglers too from the Karmic Revival. And it's just those double-edged moments there sometimes when you pop that for Adam Warlock, where you're going to get caught slightly out of position. The reses are maybe not going to be exactly where you want them. And so 100 Thieves getting second here, continuing to train forward. Hold on to the God of Mischief, so the ult bank looking pretty decent. They might even get some staggers. You're coming out of this forward spawn.
Cart pretty far forward, but 5 minutes 20 to start here on the final stretch. That is brutal. Envy need to play this to absolute perfection, but 100 Thieves don't want to give them the opportunity. Vinny does get taken down, but the quick trade is there. The trade up is found. It's terrible. Jumping in, just carving them to mincemeat here. Looks for a little bit more. That is a wipe as 100 Thieves start off the last stretch of Figure Path in the best way possible.
And you'd be hoping that Envy would be able to just deny a lot more of the Wolverine value that's occurring, because you have the Soul Bond here, which is denies pretty much a lot of the burst damage, keeps people up against all odds, distributing that damage for the Adam Warlock. But 100 Thieves doing such a good job of forcing out a lot of the cooldowns early, and then setting up Terra to find picks over and over and over again. As Vinny caught on the pillar here just a little bit, has to invest some walls just to back on up. Is going to make it out, but holding on to the strength of the prison.
Managing to escape. Delana traded, but then there goes Speedily, so there goes all of your damage. Taken away. Real quick res. Bringing him back into the fight, but still going to be time lost on this defense as Starlord continues to get cycled in and out. Meteor is going to be popped here on both sides. CTK trying to survive, but Kalu's kind of barrel stuff in there, just gets right up on top of him. Managing to find that elimination. Breaks down that front line a bit, and it seems like maybe the first real breath of fresh air here for Envy, as they do successfully shove back the players on 100 Thieves and get a little stagger on Delana.
And last point of Usual Path is one of the harder points to crack in general. Very, very defensible here. Still, 4 minutes just about on the board for 100 Thieves, so they're going to have plenty of time to try to crack this. They know where they have to push. It's a win condition, right? They didn't even get all the way in for Envy. So 100 Thieves can play it slow, can play it low. Like, they can just make sure, like, okay, let's trade out effectively. Is there a visible boundary invested already for SAP? 100 Thieves just trying to take some space.
Pushing up through that one, utilizing it to get on top of the cart. All through here on the copy from Month. Trying to keep everybody sustained as they counter push forward. Vinny, well, not had too much vision, but still was able to find some very solid kills as once again Envy are just getting absolutely trounced. Nero dead as quickly as they re-arrived as Vinny is going crazy. Knocking him down, and now the push coming in. I mean, Speely's just having the worst time possible. Terra is just ripping them to shreds, and that's the push. Okay, this map done and dusted, ladies and gentlemen. As the casters like to say, we have a series on our hands. Tied up 1-1. That is not going to be another clean sweep here from Envy over 100 Thieves. We are now at least getting ourselves 4 maps. And we love that.
We do love that, and we do love the fact that 100 Thieves making some. It's not. I wouldn't even say adjustments. It just they played a comp they played so much of already throughout their past. It's just like this is their bread and butter to a degree, and they made it work. I think even against a comp that theoretically has a lot of good counters with the Wolverine, specifically with the Adam Warlock. So you have options to just like soul bond it. But you see Terra's final hits, 23 final hits, and even Delina, who has always been obviously a menace on the Hela, contributing a ton there. This was just 100 Thieves constantly just denying speed elite value, setting up Terra to get leaps, to get the Pharaoh leaps over and over and over again. And it just happened repeatedly. 100 Thieves, this is a comp that they are always scary on.
Yeah, the Wolverine, whenever Terra has an opportunity to bust that hero out, tends to have a lot of value. And it's been trending upward for him in the last couple of games. So there's definitely an argument to be made that it's like, hey, maybe you just want to keep your boy on Wolverine, give him the old Logan treatment, Weapon X, so that this way he could just do his business. In any case, so great comic, by the way. Also, I do want to give a shout out to Hex for some of the worst Marvel lore facts that I've ever seen. And honestly, kind of offensive, but you know what? Hey, he's paying me, so I can't really do much about this. I can't call him out. I'm kidding, but of course, we're getting ready for map 3 here. As we said, it is going to be a series now, guaranteed game 4 here, as 100 Thieves managed to pick up that win. And hey, I think it's safe to say that this is exactly what we wanted, but it was not surprising to see 100 Thieves fight back the way that they have, because this is a team with a lot of talent.
I will say that pick on a speed elite was kind of surprising, shutting down the Galactic Legend with the Pharaoh Leap. That was a bit surprising, but other than that, yes, this is not that surprising. These guys have been dueling each other in the North America region now for a while, especially with their newest iteration of the Envy composition, been kind of powerhouses of the scene. So I do think if there's one team that's on the market that's always going to be available to potentially shut down Envy, it's going to be 100 Thieves. They're just kind of North American royalty at this point when it comes to Marvel rivals.
Yeah, they've been so good. The combination, the front line, Vinny, TTK, Delena and Terra on the duelist side, and then SJP and Harvey really just being everything that this team needs to keep them alive. Like 100 Thieves have always had, especially recently, that we've been seeing some great results from them. But on the flip side of that, though, Achilleos, Envy, despite the loss, right? I mean, you're now going to be figuring this one out if you're Envy. How do you shut down Terra? But, still, I mean, Envy, they've been playing a lot today. They've been looking good. And this is only just a bump in the road for them, it seems.
Yeah, I think this is going to be maybe a little bit of whiplash here for Envy. I mean, granted, these teams are very well acquainted with one another. You suspect that when they're not competing against each other in tournaments, they're going to be very regular scrim partners. So I think, they know what 100 Thieves is capable of, but they're probably feeling a hell of a lot better about their chances after that first map, and also with how this Yggdrasil path had begun for them. Because, we were talking about it, me and Avast, it was looking like, okay, maybe the draft here from 100 Thieves wasn't as clean or as precise as it needed to be with what they were targeting, because we were seeing that huge spiral, that huge initial push coming through, but they were able to find their footing. They were able to really start to pick apart this, triple backline setup that Envy had going on. And I mean, a lot of that just had to do with this huge glow up compared to the first map from Terra.
Yeah, exactly. And, with Terra popping off the way that you did, marches 100 Thieves over to that first win. So we'll see whether or not 100 Thieves can keep the good times rolling here. Of course, as we had mentioned, this is a battle that we've seen a fair amount of times for 100 Thieves and Envy. So, both squads going to be very familiar with one another. This is a rematch of the Shroud Gauntlet as well. So already we're getting something a little bit different here, because that one was a 3-0 in favor of Envy. This time around, though, we're seeing a vast 100 Thieves step it up, and now I don't know what the map is going to be, what Envy is going to elect to pick here, but it's going to be Hall of Jalia. All right, so what could we be expecting here as we get ready for the maps, picks, and bans?
Flyers. Both these squads,
Flyers.
I mean, in particular, like Envy, they really have been loving a lot of Flyers, especially as we saw in the previous series, so could be an option for that to come out. Especially with our new ban system, like you talked about a bit, where we're not doing the Fearless Draft, obviously that was in the Shroud Gauntlet. We're doing this new Ignite system bans where teams can ban something, but it's only for the opposing team, not a global ban. So it adds a lot of potential options here for these squads, where it's tough to say exactly what they're going to play, because like I said, I think these teams are a little bit more stylistically closer to a degree, where they do love to both play around like group compositions. They love also Hela. They love like even playing Wolverine. The difference is Envy historically, not currently, because I do think 100 Thieves has been showing more flexibility. I've also been flexing to these triple strategists, to playing some comps that are not based around the group entirely either. So I do think this is something that like where it gives them a bit more options. And even 100 Thieves, I don't think they love flyers as much even. So maybe for Envy, this is where they can try to force their flyer comps and take 100 Thieves off of a bit of a comfort pick, maybe even ban the Wolverine.
Yeah, no, of course. All right, well, here we go. The first stop Human Torch ban to start off this, and then we move forward.
There it is.
Now the ban,
there it is.
phase really begins.
Now the ban phase begins. There we go. All right. Okay. Does 100 Thieves elect to protect that Groot again, which they will, as we had noted. Teams both like playing around that Groot, so it's okay. They're also big fans of Vin Diesel. I get it.
Yeah. Who doesn't love his excellent voice acting work?
Just a game changer in the world of voice work. Truly.
I forgot that he was the voice.
They had him record.
I forgot that he was the voice of that. I thought you were just making a joke about Vinny.
No,
he is.
That he is. Yeah, he's Groot's voice, man. So
he had to record like over 100, 60 or 100. I don't remember what the number was. Voice lines, different variations of him saying, "I'm Groot, I'm Groot, I'm Groot." Like, it was just so funny. And you just see the video of him.
One of the easiest VO jobs ever.
Bro, if you tell me that all I gotta do is say three words, and I'm just saying that over and over, please.
And here is $1 million.
Vin Diesel, I know you're watching. I know you're watching. They're pocket watching you right now, okay?
Or Groot. All right, nothing crazy happening here. Invisible Woman is going early. We saw 100 Thieves do that before, got rid of the Invisible Woman, and that seems to, been something that they liked, so they're going to opt to do that one more time. Ooh.
Okay, but yeah, I think this was a necessary pivot from Envy. Tara, way too strong playing the Wolverine, so they ban it away. It is a change up, from what we've been seeing from them.
We've seen these bans before because Wolverine plays very well into the Groot, so it is a perfectly valid pick. But I guess Envy wasn't familiar with Tara's game, so they were familiar now for sure.
Okay.
Sometimes you gotta get stopped.
I guess this is all trending towards what Avess was talking about. Flyers coming out here.
Yeah, I feel like that's what they're really trying to do here, is they want to deny Envy that chance to play the Wolverine, especially because you're playing flyer compositions. So you think like, oh, naturally that matchup's going to be really good for the team that's on the Wolverine typically, because like, well, they're not going to have as much pressure on our flyers. Technically, not always, because also you're putting more resources into them to where that Wolverine can kind of run rampant sometimes. 100 Thieves, though, I really like what they're doing here, where they're putting a lot of emphasis on strategist again. We're like, okay, let's remove the Loki, let's remove the Invisible Woman. Sure, they've already protected the Luna Snow, that's fine. I think that's another great option to kind of keep the lid on flyer comps a bit, because it forces Envy to be like, okay, we can try to force this with like a Rocket Raccoon Luna Snow or a Cloak and Dagger Luna Snow, or we maybe even try to like trend towards a triple strategist comp again, which I mean, I don't think that's they're going to want to do after the last map.
Okay, so they're limiting their duelist options, removing the Winter Soldier. Interesting. I guess, that will affect the Flyers. So yeah, that'll affect the Flyers. So that makes sense.
I think it affects the Flyers, but this also allows them to kind of keep the Vanguards a little bit more protected, because if you just, you get that hook, we were seeing the bullying that was coming through from Terra on the previous map, or like, at the Terra at Windows expense. So just anything that can kind of easy displace those front lines, it seems like that's just what Envy wants to try to avoid.
Terra focused. It feels like on that particular ban, right? You got rid of the Winter Soldier, you got rid of the Wolverine. So yeah, interesting situation there for sure, Avast, but that is going to put Envy in a fun position to see what they end up rolling with here. And we're getting that Hawkeye Storm combo again. Wait, no, shot Terra. You don't do it, you madman.
I don't think that's gonna happen. It could be like a scout, but you can hope, you can pray, but I just don't think that's going to be occurring here. Terra more than likely is making a swap. I mean, if anything, maybe like even an Iron Fist. I think there's
You're
scouting.
Wrong.
They're scouting. No, they're scouting. They're scouting.
Okay,
They're scouting. Yep.
I'm wrong.
Send him to the gulag. Send him to the gulag. There we go. 20 lashes.
That's why I'm just a filthy host. All right, guys, over to you.
Don't feel good, does it?
Shut up.
Well, Now, yeah, it will be the Iron Fist aforementioned there by Avast, so still going to be looking to have a bit of that dive pressure, try to get on top of Cal and succeed where ShroudX couldn't quite manage it. Cal, though, of course, back on the Hawkeye. We're expecting good things here, Avast.
Well, I mean, really good things, because Cal's already down. There's no res this time, no Adam Warlock. We're not getting Cocoons, we're not getting Karmic Revivals, and Terra just into the back on the Iron Fist. And this is another pocket pick for Terra, to where I think a lot of teams have not been playing that nearly as much, and with Terra just getting onto the Iron Fist here.
I mean, he is just beating the ever-loving hell out of him. It's just going to be another elimination coming through, and another hot start here for 100 Thieves. That's going to be the cap. And the payload unlocked. Good lord. I mean, just not even really any pressure coming towards Terra either. I'm just jumping into their faces, and there is nothing that Envy could do about it.
I think it's one of the best picks you can play into this Hawkeye Storm comp in general, because you're pretty good at like hunting them both, especially with the Storm is typically not playing insanely high up in the air, so still very reachable for the Iron Fist because you're trying to get value from the aura. So I love this pick here. 100 Thieves, they've been really defined a lot by I think Terra's flexibility is with this post like kind of hella dominant meta to a degree, where Delina was sort of like that driving factor before. So just being able to these swaps, and I think just this 100 Iron Fist swap in general is so good for them.
All right, well, ult's online here for the side of Envy, but not 6 players strong. Cal taking that down off the rip, and Kaluj as well, similarly joining him in the grave. That tornado is not going to find a damn thing other than its demise, as Delina quickly clears it up. 100 Thieves now seemingly fully online, fully unlocking their potential. And they are absolutely sprinting through this map.
Envy, though, gonna hold on to 5 ults for this recontest. They know they removed the God of Mischief earlier there with the Mega Hurricane, so this is a chance for a pretty strong recontest. The issue here, though, is that to make it through the choke, they have to put some pressure out. And okay, well, as I say that, Vinny goes down, so that's pretty much the entire front line kind of collapsed there for 100 Thieves.
Oh, TTK struggled down. Kaluj able to find that one and try to create a little bit of breathing room. And to Thieves, off the back, they say, all right, we're fine. We'll just fold back. We'll just go ahead and get a full reset and get ready to attack with the 5 ults that we have at the ready.
Envy resetting here, speedily 60% to another Hurricane, and this is where it starts to get slightly dangerous for 100 Thieves, because they've had that trade and they didn't win the next fight. Now they could potentially be worrying of like, okay, we're going to get outpaced on our strategy ults here for the Omega Hurricane. Terra playing up top, just trying to create a little bit of pressure, keep the pressure onto Cal. Going to commit here with the Living Chi.
Just diving straight into the thick of things here, looking to stir up some chaos. Too much damage going to be found, though, as Month pulls the trigger, sends things out there with the dagger, and Kalush does manage to find one. So Harvey going to be eliminated. Chance for a res if Delina can find a pick, but widely it seems like 100 Thieves will once again just have to go backpedaling away as Terra just whirlwind kicking their way out to safety.
Zooming, just zooming on out. So 100 Thieves have to back up for now. Envy can continue to hold the second point, and this really good swap so far. They're keeping a lot of pressure, and I like Month going here to this Cloak and Dagger, just try to keep the Terra cape, get the vulnerabilities out into the front line here, so they can walk forward and kind of ignore Terra, let Terra just run around the back like, okay, we're going to ignore little bro, we're moving forward. Obviously not necessarily going to work every time, especially if 100 Thieves work out, and if they lose Cal really early.
Okay, well, it's another great pick here as Terra succeeding. Gets rid of that ever pesky Hawkeye, and now Delina up and over the top is just laying down hell from above as Nero will fall, and they get themselves an extended team wipe. Cal now just going to be swapping over onto the Wolverine, try to turn the tides of this one, but as far as getting a contest is concerned, I think it's going to be too late. Speedily just not going to be fast enough, I think, when it comes down to trying to get that barrier, that portal rather, out, and now, yeah, I don't think you really want to jump through it. Looks like they are going to try to commit just a little bit here.
The problem here is, I mean, essentially it's like you have to kind of commit, because like, what do? You already have speedily on the Strange. You don't necessarily have to go back and swap again here. Better just to take the fight on the point before it goes further, force some ults out.
Well, going for it, they're able to find one. Meteor M claiming as TTK similarly does get taken down. Ult out from SJP does make this feel a little bit better for Envy, but not being able to get the denial on that point cap certainly does hurt.
And they force Terra off the Iron Fist too, because they're still on this triple Vanguard. Iron Fist, despite some of the buffs to the Vanguard damage, not amazing into triple Vanguard here. So Terra's now gone to the Moon Knight, where you can just spam into this wall of meat that you have, build a Hand of Khonshu, try to burst through just pretty much nothing that's able to really save you from the Hand of Khonshu. Just how fast it is, just how much damage it does in general. Just
got it.
Few ults that burns through everything.
Quickly built up. Grappled to the top, looking for a bit of a flank and surprise angle as Nero dead. The immediate setup there on the Ankh, and now had a con shoot here. Open things up for the cart push. Window dead, and yep, so quickly does it all spiral out of control for Envy. As with Kalush's death, it's going to be yet another extended team wipe.
And Speedly now making the swap here back to the Storm into the Moon Knight, who, even with some of those buffs, is not amazing into those picks. So I think it's right because, you know, he's like, oh, I almost have the Eye of Agamotto. No, it's a trap. It's a trap. Don't hold on to it. You definitely want to make the swap. And then Terra just playing some more hero chests, right? Because now going back to the Iron Fist again. So this is kind of this benefit here of playing the games here with the hero roulette of, okay, you go this, I go this, you go this, I go this. That's the one thing that I think with the system that's pretty strong here, the counter swaps. And wait, they just lost. They lost the Eternal Bond entirely. They burned
As soon as he went to send it, just gets the immediate cancel on the ult. Kalush dead, and this is just getting out of hand. Stability not found anywhere whatsoever for the side of Envy. Shoved back into the spawn room, barely able to try to escape. Still waiting for Window to try to get a respawn. Ult gonna be popped here as Cal gets himself over onto the cart, holding it here for the moment. Meteor M looking for the shutdown, unable to find it now. Kalush is out in response. Envy desperately needing some value, needing some kills. TTK surviving. His rebuff coming out here as Month just right back into the spawn room doors. Cal will be able to find one, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. 4 meters left to go. 3 players alive here on the side of Envy, 3 on the side of 100 Thieves. Terra still wreaking havoc, juggling around this Wolverine, and now the cheat comes out, and it's just going to be to glide that cart into the last checkpoint. 58 seconds to spare. 100 Thieves make it to the end of the map.
And capping Neutral Path in general, good. Capping with time left in the bank, even better. Very, very solid here. And really just the swaps for 100 Thieves being kind of the difference maker. I think with Iron Fist coming to the meta, it's just giving them so much more ability to play into these comps. I love what they've done here too, where they, like we talked about earlier in the draft, where they've removed Invisible Woman, they've removed Loki from Envy, so it's a lot harder to just really provide that hard pocket to the Flyers that they're doing, so it's forcing Envy to play around these swaps a bit more. 100 Thieves playing a really good strategic game right now, and I mean, once again, they're duelists, looking a lot more alive than you could say when teams that got shut down previously by Envy, putting up a much bigger performance.
Hell of a deficit to now try to make up here for Envy. Not wanting to have 100 Thieves get up to match point, especially with their map pick coming into this one, but the stability, the breathing room, it was very sparsely found as 100 Thieves was just constantly barreling down on them, and it looks like they're not going to make really any changes. It worked on the attack, might just work as good of a treat here on the defense as well. Terra coming back out with the Iron Fist.
The battle starts in 5, 4,
Terra,
3.
he's surveying, he's saying, who will I feast upon? As they come out the spawn, who's going to be my first target? Hiding here in the little bit of the plant life. See Kalush choosing to go for this portal tech. This is some classic Hall Jalia tech here. Have the Doctor Strange just immediately just go through the choke, just ignore it for the first fight. Gonna take the high ground instead. Especially when you're on the storm, just gonna use the ore to help clear the high ground, get a lot of extra damage. As Cal tries to commit pretty early.
Looking for something there, but not much to be found. Kalush, you're on maximum comfort, you would say, but the position that they're in, certainly not as comfortable. Drops down, looking to take some space here with the Strange. Shield raised. For now, 100 Thieves contained back here at the alley, but kills immediately going to be found in response as soon as I say that. Oh, the cast occurs Envy. I can only apologize. They hit the go button, and that is Envy just absolutely evaporating off the map.
And now with the Doctor Strange tech kind of used, they're going to have to probably swap back the Magneto exactly because they're going to have that cooldown. So the first ploy does not pan out. And for many people, when you're playing their ranked games, they're always hoping like, oh, please let the Doctor Strange attack work on our first attack here for Jalia. Because then you have to take the long slog on up, make the rotation. And Envy instead looking like they want to clear this opposing high ground first. Just make sure Delena and the TTK and them can't be on this. Just going to walk up here through the hallway. Ult's coming online for 100 Thieves now, though. So the bank's going to be pretty strong. And we're going to have the Eternal Bond, so they're going to have some options. And this is a really crucial fight, because if Envy decides to commit here, lose the fight, then they're in a really rough situation.
Cal just dead. Delena, just a neutral kill. Ult still in the back pocket. Really looking for anything they can get here at this point. 100 Thieves are just dancing away from him, playing so elusively. Pretty much untouchable here for the moment. So Window says, okay, well, I gotta lock you in place. Sends the prison. Vinny has one in response, though. Just look at the counteract, and Delana plays off the back of it as Nero's gonna be eliminated. Meteor M not coming up with a kill, but still player advantage there as the trade up comes through. Kaluj taken down, and that's the Vanguard's gone here for Envy.
And it was a relatively long fight, expensive fight. So, I mean, I'm going to be like last fight territory for Envy as we come on back. A minute and a half on the bank. But the good news is they saved the last stand. They saved the Fate of the Worlds. So they have a lot of options to pressure 100 Thieves here. Because sure, Terra can pop the Living Chi, but they're going to have the Strategist ult. They have a Meteor in to potentially burn through an ult that they force. Also, last stand's really good in general, just like taking someone outside of the ult radius to get the burst. So they have some pretty good options here for maybe one of the best case scenarios they could have had there outside of outright winning the fight. But this is pretty much last fight territory, barring Envy making swap exchange again here for the portal. As Terra in the back, he's looking, here he comes. He's healing up, getting that bonus health there, the Harmony recovery. And now here comes the engagement of Thieves.
I am ready to put on a show.
Keeping them contained back away from the point, not allowing for any progress to be built up. 55 seconds now going to be remaining here for Envy. Terra, ult now expiring, still just beating them back though, keeping them away from this point as best as humanly possible. Goes low, nearly gets taken down, but the kill still cannot be confirmed. Every time Envy gets close, just gets taken away from them. Quickly trying to stay alive. Kaluj getting juggled around here through the walls. Pops back up. 30 seconds now remaining. Delana in a little bit of a rough spot, takes the Crow out over to the side, now takes to the skies. Goddess of Death in play, and that's gonna be speedily dead. Nero gone, and I think that might just do it here on the map. That's gotta be a wrap. No other way to try to make it happen. Cal, the ult will expire, they'll pop out, they'll die. 100 Thieves looking for the absolute perfection here.
Speedily has Strange. Speedily has the Strange. There's a chance they can get this portal off in time. They need it up like right now. They're going to get the touch. So OT gonna occur, Window moving to the Venom, but no ults in the bank here into the Fatal World versus SJP. They need to stay alive long enough for maybe Nero to get it.
Fiddle getting juggled around. Kaluj similarly tagged down low. Window swap over onto the Venom, just trying to get a little bit more staying power, but it's not to be found. Terra tears them asunder. As even with a swap here, Delana knowing like, yep, I can just go to the Iron Man, get right back over very swiftly. Absolute perfection, not even a tick surrendered on that first point. 100 Thieves now in the lead. Match point is in their hands, and that 100,000, or the 100,000, that 1,000, sorry. I'm thinking of
the $100,000. Yeah. They're coming in, yeah, big announcement.
Problem is, if I finish the sentence, then they have to pay it, so that would be really bad for him.
That's true, it's legally binding. It's
legally binding if I say it. So yeah, 1,000, sorry, I just got off another event where there was a prize pool of that magnitude on the line, so.
Oh, okay, he's calling us small stuff? Calling us small stuff?
No, not what I'm saying. Not what I'm saying. Don't you put words in my mouth. Look,
I don't know. From where I'm
it's 10 a.m. I've been awake since 5.
You sound like you were talking trash. That's from where I am. That's just saying where I is. You know, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Of course, so 100 Thieves keeping the good times rolling. Look at those final hits. My gosh, Delana and Terra popping off. Achilles is corpsing within himself here. But man, something, you know, the bounce back from 100 Thieves has been very impressive here. And Achilles, what is it? You paid the fight.
Look, when I make mistakes like this, I piss myself off. That's all. But like,
I was not even say I piss myself. I thought he was
like, all this water, I'm pissing myself.
I'm so angry. I'm so mad at myself.
When I make these mistakes, I soil my pants so bad.
It's an intimidation tactic. No, that means, you know, that, and then I'm saying 100 Thieves, $1,000,
it's true.
100,000. There's some, you know, also, a little bit of alliteration coming out there.
We still have never met all 100 of the Thieves yet, so it's terrible. You know, I mean, at some point we got to get that sorted, Nate Shot. Well, at least 6 of the Thieves though popped off here in this map, and you know, I Terra. Man, I see some people in the chat were talking about the Iron Fist getting a hot nerf of Vast going into the next season, I believe. Is that true? Yeah.
That is very true. So the Terra Iron Fist might not be as much of a pocket pick, but right now we're not on that patch. You know, and here in our $1,000 tournament, not the $100,000 tournament,
Thank
we
you.
do have we do have that ability still open for 100 Thieves, and Terra made a lot of great use for it here. And I think they've done a really good job here with the bans too, of just allowing them to just play into these flyers for Envy a bit, forcing them off these competitions. I mean, a perfect holder here on Jalia against a team like Envy, no small feat for 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
And they looked really, really good on this. Everyone looking like great across the board. Envy struggling a bit to break this hold. Even in a situation where they had some ults coming in for that last fight, they just couldn't find the isolation. They couldn't deal with the aggression. Vinny, I think even might have flubbed the Strangling Prison. I don't know if it happened off stream, but 100 Thieves looking really, really good, and Terra just continued to be a driver for this squad and the flexibility he brings to them.
Yeah, ZP said it best, called him Mr. Versatile, and he really is, because he has a lot to. I mean, we were talking before about how Delena's usually like the one that you were looking at before to be a kind of like run point on some of this, but the last couple of appearances that we've seen for this 100 Thieves lineup, and most notably for Terra, it's been just a constant upswing. And when he's not performing, it's quite noticeable. So it's gone to show you that there is certainly a lot in store for us, folks. But we're going to be taking a quick break. When we come back, we have game number 4. Does 100 Thieves close this one out, or will Envy force us into a game 5? Our first of the day. Will it happen? There's only one way to find out, and it's after this break. And we're going to a map 4. And here you had some great moments that would end too soon for Speedily, as he got dragged. That honestly, that looked like the way when I used to be a kid back in high school. I'd go to the school dances, you know, and then, you know, one girl always show up and just grab me to the dance floor as I'm like awkwardly trying to pull back. Man, please no.
Oh yeah, you were in that demand, huh? You were in that high in demand, huh? This turned into a self-glazed moment.
Look at his face.
But this was during like the cooties era, where you're like, I don't wanna dance with girls.
No, it was more just like, listen, all right, I partied in teen dances in the hood, okay? And let me tell you, it was crazy. All right, we used to
all
throw
the
down.
every girl wanted him so bad. They all wanted to dance with him so bad.
No.
But he had to be like,
they had to tackle and wrestle him to the ground.
Not every girl, just a couple. Just a couple.
Okay.
You know, it was no big deal. In any case, though, I'm kidding. No one liked me. That was just my best way to use a reference, to use a segue. In any case, though, folks, it's going to hell's heaven. Kind of seems like a bit of an oxymoron, but you know, here we are. So map 4, Hell's Heaven. We're going to see where the chips fall as far as the draft goes here. Vast, what we could end up expecting. We saw a little target toward Terra earlier, saying, "Hey, no Wolverine for you." Then he says, "Oh, I'm so glad." Then I'll just go hit you with the Donnie Yen. So now we go to Hell's Heaven. What do you think that maybe they don't try to prioritize going after Terra? Because it's very clear he just has a hero pool where he can just pivot wherever he needs to.
I mean, I think it's probably the most valid option, essentially, outside of maybe taking Vinny off the Groot, because of the fact that you don't necessarily want to go for Cal, right? Because Cal's best heroes, they oftentimes, not quite the same, but, you know, Delena's best hero is Hela. Cal's best hero, typically, not always, has been Hela. So you necessarily like, okay, we don't remove Hela from the field. That's something that we'd like to be able to play. Human Torch, whatever. That's our first round. We're always going to be gone. I think there's not really a lot of options to choose for Envy than going after Terra or Vinny, really.
The problem is you can't go after Vinny because they're just going to have this first protect, so they're always going to be able to secure the Groot. So it's just again between a rock and a hard place. And this is Envy kind of getting the rougher end of what they were profiting from in the first series versus Shroud X, where it's just like, okay, like this is where our priorities lie. You can't take it away from us. What does the pivot have to be? They've tried going for that Wolverine. I wouldn't be too surprised if they do it again, just given the map that we're going to as well, because there is a ton of just like back alley access that you can get with that Wolverine. We're just sliding in behind you, the opponents, getting those kidnaps like we're seeing in the opening series as well for NA.
Yeah, again, our next set of bans coming in here, and we've seen Luna get banned pretty consistently for Envy, and on the other side for that, we've seen Ember Frost get banned consistently as well. The Invisible Woman ban, though, that one is a carryover from what we saw on map 2 and 3 for 100 Thieves, and nothing really all that's going to change here, right? You're going to protect the Loki out of this. You don't have the Luna anymore, so you're not going to try and protect the Luna. On the other side, 100 Thieves, they'll probably see if they can go and protect their Loki here, more than likely, or just protect one of those strategists.
For them, I think they're happy. They don't necessarily have to go for that. Like, they're pretty happy again with these strategist picks. Okay, it's
never mind.
Which I mean makes sense, right? Because it prevents Envy from going for the ban.
That was the other one I thought.
Yeah, it's a great option, and I love the strategist bans here again because with Luna Snow and Invisible Woman being banned, it forces Envy to essentially like, okay, we don't have those great pockets. We could try to play a triple strategist composition since we do still have like Loki in the table, but it didn't work out for them great in the first map. You know, didn't work out for them that like well previously. I would say it worked out good, but not amazingly. So I do think that this is an option for 100 Thieves where they're pretty happy about the strat. Again.
Yeah, because they have the ability to pivot if need be. Well, here you go, folks. 100 Thieves could walk away as back-to-back RFN champs, which, how many times has that happened? There's a few, right? I think once or twice?
Well, we
been a new winner every week.
Yeah, you're in EU.
not counting EU. Virtus Pro is just too
I think
base.
we have a graphic that at least it's not necessarily fully up to date, but it's pretty up to date. I don't know if you have that production, but either way, it's very somewhat uncommon, I would say, for North America to get consistent back-to-backs here in fighting for North America.
So 100 Thieves, though, looking to buck the trend. Here we go, folks. Let's see if 100 Thieves can close us out 3-1 or Envy forces us to that map 5. Pressure's on.
It is. Thank you, GB. All right, let's go into this and see if this is going to be the conclusion of this series or if Envy, the last map pick, are going to be able to extend this all the way to 5. Unsurprisingly, it's going to be some Wolverine v Wolverine. Cal, however, going to be coming out now with that winner, Soldier. And, oh, come on. Plug the headset in.
Well, maybe, I mean, I'm assuming it's 100 Thieves here because Envy are ready now, but never trust the ready screen. Sure, they can't be another headset that's gone dark. I mean, the best one was during the Shroud Gauntlet when they when the player's monitor had overheated. I think it was Audios's monitor overheated because the tournament was like 15 hours long. So it had to go into like power saving mode so it doesn't burn
to put some hot screen. Some frozen peas on the back of it, you know what I mean? Try and preserve it.
That was the best of all the tech.
Take out the dry ice. All right, well, seems like we are right back into it. So fortunately, you know, very quick. The few issues that we have had. Vinny gonna get kidnapped. A nice little steal there. Similar things happening as well. I mean, Wolverines are just lumberjacks, I suppose. They're just felling the trees. As it will be delayed to collect the kill credit there.
They're clearing it out, but good bubbles there again as another leap gonna come out. Terra not able to find one, so both squads currently just stuck in a little bit of a stalemate, looking for the poke, looking for another leap as the Wolverines, you see, they're staring at each other, they're waiting to leap, they're trying to find more, comes on in, swoops around, nope, it's okay, let's just reset again.
Instead, if both Wolverines leap at each other simultaneously.
Yeah, you could maybe build like an electricity generator of sorts, you know?
I was gonna say, it's just an infinite resource where they just float forever. Either way, another little attempt there. Window does survive. Vinny, though, does get taken down. So very critical opening kill here for the side of Envy as they look to try to play out the rest of the fight. All could be committed here from SJP. Just keeping them protected within the veil here for now. A little bit of a backpedal there as now Meteor M going to be opened up. Kaluj looking for a target, lobs it in behind the wall. Bit of damage, but can't quite confirm the kill there onto the Invisible Woman. At the same time, Elena up into the sky. Trying to get this damage in, lobbing in a couple shots right over the top, and eventually will be rewarded with the kill there onto Cal. TTK at the same time. And Terra both down below half, finished off. His Window's able to find that elimination, and Envy finally get the cap.
And really good peel again there because the last stand goes out for Terra, trying to just deny some of the picks that were getting onto the leader there on the flank. And they hit the regen domains. All the peel comes out of there for Envy. The backline again, Nero Month being so crucial for this squad. So with the Strangling Prison being up, they're going to choose to just hold really aggressive if they want, try to force 100 Thieves to use resources to get out of the spawn. Typically, they're going to hold the choke versus holding closer into the spawn here because the silence is so much longer. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're back on up. TDK does have the Meteor Imp, so they have some options here for the burst to treat it kind of like a strategy where we can absorb a bit of the damage. But Envy just gonna hold the choke here, look to set up the Strangling Prison. They know 100 Thieves not gonna have a strategy just yet. As Terra gets scouted a little bit, the Wolverines, I mean, they're next to each other, or they're trying to abduct each other.
Just running at him. He was running at him menacingly as Cal, a little bit of pressure applied here towards the Winter Soldier. Still about 40% away from having Kraken online. Vinny once again going to be taken down. I mean, speedily. And having a hell of an amount of impact here with the Wolverine thus far. And Cal, it's a piece of the pie as SJP does get taken down. So maintaining control thus far are Envy, caressing past the 60% mark.
Bro, Terra, he can't get out. The map is rotating. He's like, door stuck. Door stuck. He can't get out, man. And they're going to get a stagger on Delina, too. They're getting a stagger on Delina as well. Oh, it's so brutal.
Or are they?
Wait, he's dead. Yeah, okay, he's definitely gone. They got the limb. Okay. So Envy now 80% coming up here on the bank. Gonna hold on to 3 ults. About to be 4 as well with the Eternal Bond from Nero. 100 Thieves, the bank is looking good here at Kilios, but they really need to find an opening, right? Because they have to get through the choke, and they just need to remove, ideally, speedily from the high ground. Just get a really good position. As once again, Terra, you can see him up there on the flank. Looks like he's not gonna go from the high ground this time. Just big here from behind.
Find something, but right now, I mean, Terra's just getting brutalized, trying to hide out. Goes in for the dive, gets the lock in onto Kalush, but will not be able to confirm a kill there. Meanwhile, speedily finds Vinny at the same time. It's cutting him down piece by piece. The land of this managed to find one as Month will hit the floor. Cal, the risk of a reset, but does manage to stay alive, and it looks like Cal is going to be coming up with the goods. Resets coming through. Final dive in. As that is the point locked down. Envy looking fantastic to start here on Hell's Heaven.
And a really great late Strangling Prison as well from Vinny, because Vinny just dropping that post-rad results. They've got on the pick, locks them in the choke, lets them get those final limbs. And when you're just able to just kind of wait in place that Strangling Prison, it can be so impactful here. And I think, I'd rather not Vinny, but rather Window, I should say. Getting mixed up a bit. But Envy, looking really good. Speedily now with the swap to the Wolverine too, which is typically not we haven't seen Speedily a lot historically on Wolverine, by the way. Speedily's played like a lot of Flyers, a pretty diverse set of compositions, even a lot of Psylocke. I don't remember seeing Speedily a lot in the Wolverine, so this is just another tool in Speedily's arsenal here, who has been like such a great addition, so flexible for this team in general. So in 100 Thieves, looking to equalize the rounds here. Probably not making any gigantic swaps because Delina's not going to stay, obviously, on the Rocket Raccoon. Just going to get his packs out. And yeah, 100 Thieves keeping pretty much similar comp. Same with Envy, so no big changes across the board for the first fight.
Got eyes on some bogeys.
Once again, just a little bit of a how-do-you-do between the Wolverines. Terra going to be falling back, looking for a different avenue of approach. And that they have been scouted out. Speedily looking to maybe go for it. Quick little pin, but maybe a cancel. So they have to go ahead and get themselves out towards safety. Dive forward. And oh boy, Kalush forced off the side of the map. There goes the Magneto. 100 Thieves now in the driver's seat, looking to try to tie things up here at Hell's Heaven, extend to a third round, and then try to close things out from there. Halfway towards the cap. JP ult at the ready. As Terra into the back line, just trying to wreak havoc. Ends up going a little bit low. Peels back over onto the point, though. And with the help of the rest of the squad, the Thieves will get it done.
And that's actually a great first fight there for 100 Thieves. Because 100 Thieves, sure, not only they get the first cap, but also more importantly, because Terra moves Kalusha early in the fight, they don't have the bubbles there. So we can set up the Strangling Prison, just some of those ults later in the fight, so much easier. You don't have to worry about a bubble just cleansing some of the effects, just stopping a lot of that damage. So now 100 Thieves hold the choke, and here for Hell's Heaven on every point pretty much, it is so powerful to get that first cap because Brute in particular just makes such a death box as you come through to just good look for the contest because of the walls, especially the launch walls.
No. Dead off the rip yet again. Solid start here for 100 Thieves as the fight gets ready to break out. Speedily nearly eliminated there. Envy's still trying to stick around here, get this flip into their favor. Kalush, however, not going to be able to be sustained. Terra, not to be denied this time. Breaks down the Vanguards, diving forward, and is just shredding on all fronts. Vinny will go ahead and confirm the kill, and that is going to have to be another reset here for the side of Envy. Losing out on a couple of these critical ultimates, but not finding value.
And the focus fire is so good for 100 Thieves. Again, pressuring Kaluj here. Just keep an eye out for, can they keep Kaluj pressured? Wow, I can't believe that hook actually hit. But luckily you got a doorway to stop it. But really, really good from 100 Thieves to keep this constant pressure on Kaluj. Because without any bubbles, can't really deal with the Wolverine that effectively. We've seen it in the past where if you have to play into a Wolverine without any bubbles from the Magneto, it's a really hard time.
Just trying to get the approach going from Envy. Gonna prove to be difficult. They do have a combo. They get the Root Prison in. There's the grab. Meteor M. Now in the side of TTK gonna be thrown down, and the height of the fight so quickly gets turned here. It looked like Envy might have been able to have that alley-oop play between the Groot and the Magneto, but he's completely undone. SJP obfuscates. They get the stun out onto Kaluj, and yep, that is just gonna be perfection. Perfection. We go the distance here on Hell's Heaven. 100 Thieves. One round away, one sub-map away from closing this series out 3-1 and getting some revenge over Envy.
Nasty round for 100 Thieves. I mean, just a pixel perfect round. Really just, not only just winning the first fight, which gives you that huge edge from the get-go, but denying Kaluj's value over and over again. At no point was Speedly able to get in to there either to find a good leap. So 100 Thieves looking much stronger there in the second round. Looking like they might just want to close out the series here, because remember, if they win here, I mean, that's 3-1. They're the champs.
$1,000 for 100 Thieves. It's 100 percentage points away from being secured. Envy, can they take us the distance to a fifth and final map? Would be 100 Thieves pick to try to round it out. Very much an uphill battle here for the boot camping squad. The barrier is going to drop. And like very much the same compositions being brought forward here for the final round.
No big changes across the board. Makes sense. We're gonna keep playing it the way we've been playing it. So Envy rolling out here, looking for the, and you see Terra already perched on the high ground. If this was a different genre, you could say this could be a different hero that likes to hang up the night. But no, Terra found. Gonna get vulnerable too. Oh, so good with the Terra cape too from Nero, making sure they get the vulnerability off.
Yeah, saying, well, okay, why the hell would I go for the tank? Terra's been an absolute menace. Let's just go ahead and get rid of him. So very good opening kill here for the side of Envy. As they push forward, looking for some additional staggers, and will be rewarded with one. Elena traded out. Cap now in control. Envy at 10%.
That's the type of fight you want to see if you're Envy, if you're a fan of Envy. Now they can control this choke and put up the walls. So obviously the bank going to be pretty good for both these squads. The ults coming up online. 100 Thieves looking like they're like, no, we don't want to go this way. We're actually going to kind of split a little bit, try to get some of this high ground controls. You see, Speedily up on the high ground, caught, abducted. They use the bubble. The counter bubble comes out a bit later, so really good use from Envy.
Terra ult used there. Does manage to stay alive, but now being gummed up in the works here from the back end of the fight. Envy looking to sustain. Meteor M dropped in a good amount of damage, and they're able to play off the back of it. Probably collecting the first Elena now. Getting a little bit more. There's that reset at the ready, but seems like 100 Thieves going to be satisfied with this. Go ahead, clean up whatever they can, break down some of the terrain. In control, only 46% surrendered, but Envy very much in a good spot as far as the ult bank is considered.
I mean, they're rich. They're absolutely rich here. This is generational wealth in the ult bank right now for Envy, because I mean that they didn't invest anything realistically for the fight outside of the Eternal Bond. Forced 100 Thieves use a couple big combos. And now for 100 Thieves, the name of the game is, okay, can we just force out a bubble early? Can we force out maybe the pass from the Wolverine from Speedily? Because that's really what we're watching here in this dance. It's just bubble v bubble. Who uses it first? Who's using the bubble first? Can we get it out? Just set up our other Wolverine.
Going for it, topping here on the Cloak and Dagger. The dive, trying to isolate Kaluj. Can't quite make it happen. Now the Root Prison locks them all in position. And it is just into the meat grinder here for 100 Thieves. Trying to pull the trigger, but the gun backfires. Envy. Deathless, they're in the fight. Regain control, don't even lose the lead, and now they're stretching it further.
But that's a great combo there too, because they're able to walk forward, set up the Strangling Prison, put the cape, put the Terror Cape, get the vulnerability, and just a last stand as well for Speedily. Just jumping into it for the instant burst damage through that invisible boundary. 100 Thieves though, also their own, and they're playing this leapfrog yet again. Bank not insurmountable as Window gonna get caught a little early, but they did force the bubble. That's actually a great first like little fight there for 100 Thieves.
CD down, now Terra goes diving forward, not having to worry about it. Window taking a lot of damage. The Meteor M looks to try to peel off some of this pressure. This is back a good amount of damage, and Conaterra does end up falling to the wayside. So still Envy in a good position to try to extend this over to that fifth and final map, I should say. Meteor M out here from TTK, not coming up with the goods. Delana, no reset, looking for this final reset, I should say. Will eventually get the kill, but doesn't have the ult back up. Kind of missing the window there. Bloosh bouncing around the point, falling low, but now the same comes through as Month once again goes for the copy, and it seems like we're not done yet. Envy looking alive and well here on Hell's Heaven will extend this all the way to the end.
And Envy with a really, really good find there in general. Speedly just countering the Wolverine here. So they're forcing 100 Thieves to mirror this composition, to play this bubble dance between the two squads. They're not getting the free just pressure that comes out of that. Envy adding just kind of another notch into the belt in terms of just, oh yeah, we can also play this comp as well. So this is great to be able to match 100 Thieves on this. It's amazing for Envy's overall depth and longevity. Speedly just putting so much overall more hero presence onto this squad. And Envy, they've taken us to the map 5. They don't want to go down late. They want to, like, we want 2 back-to-back tournaments. We would love to have a gauntlet and a rivals fight night, ideally.
It's crazy how adaptable they are. That was impressive. You know, because like I feel like, you know, from the games that I've seen so far, a lot of teams, you know, they'll stick with what they think, they'll stick with the game plan, right? But like this is a direct response to what they had met from 100 Thieves over the course of these last couple of games. Just a smart adjustment, and they are able to do that because Speedery gives them so much like more versatility in just all these different hero or rather in his hero bank, right? So man, like I'm really impressed by the NA teams, like, and not to take anything away from the EU teams, but I'm impressed by how the parity of the NA teams. It's like just when you think that one team might have just an upper hand, like maybe the Wolverine, maybe the oppression on the other side of 100 Thieves was a bit too much for Envy to have to deal with, and you know, their luck ran out. I don't know. No, instead you're seeing like this adaptability, and I think that's like super cool and good to show. Good. It really makes me excited to see how these teams continue to develop, because this is Avast only going to continue to get better, right, at the rate that we're seeing.
I mean, typically everyone gets better throughout the length of an esport cycle, you know, not worse. So I definitely think that is the play, right? Is that this, it will only get better. I mean, unless you're like North America and League of Legends, in which case sure. But like overall, like typically though, I mean, FlyQuest, I mean, there was some wins. I guess I can't be.
Dude, I swear every time someone talks about North American League of Legends, there's always that one person who goes, you know, this team, you know, they were okay.
I mean, actually, to be honest, I mean, technically, now I'm not the league header. Technically, North America has been better internationally than Europe, I think, than past year or so.
Well, so I wasn't making that noise to try to be like, well, actually, what about this thing? I was just gonna say that they've never been good. So, but
okay, he lives in Korea, by the way. He lives in Korea.
About Vast, but yes.
Viewers, as a fact check, he lives in Korea. Just to let you guys know, he lives in Korea. Okay, just put it out there.
Bias,
There's no bias.
Oh, just you wait until the Koreans come out in this game. Oh, baby, it's gonna be.
Oh man, we're not. I work with this guy all the time. And it is insufferable how much he is just an absolute simp for our friends over in the Korean esports space. Nah, it's all respect and love, man. It's good to see. I can't wait. We had, like, been mentioned before, Gen G participated in the Shroud Gauntlet, so it'd be cool to see them, especially squaring up, on LAN against teams like this, against teams like Envy, teams like 100 Thieves and Virtus Pro, who are really showing just the range. And we were talking before about the history of Rivals Fight Night here, and 100 Thieves, you know, they managed to win back to back. Back to back. That was 4 wins, as a matter of fact. I was reading that incorrectly there.
4 backs.
So hey, you know, they've found that success in the past. Maybe they could do it again here. Getting close. Envy, on the other hand, has Envy won one? No, Envy has not won one. So this is also going to be a big one for them. Envy win their first RFN title. Be pretty cool to hold the belt for a week. We got to get a belt.
Gotta get belts. Yeah, I mean, we should get a belt. I think that would be great. I mean, we're working on it. I mean, maybe we can put the belt on them at DreamHack, because we are going to be at DreamHack. Us at Rival Fight Night, we're partnering here with Intel and with Envy to put on a booth there at DreamHack. Gonna be Saturday, this upcoming Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And, we're going to be hanging out, playing some money matches. If you want to potentially play to win some prizes versus Envy, see your favorite players, see us. I doubt we're your favorites. I hope we are, though. But I doubt you're the reason you're going to be there. So either way, it would be great. And it's
you're there to see a vast. You did something wrong,
So true. So true.
No, it's going to be a good time. You can find them at the Intel booth Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday at DreamHack. And seriously, we were talking about it earlier. DreamHack's awesome. If you haven't had a chance to go to a DreamHack yet, do yourself a solid. If it's in your town, go to it. It's genuinely fun. Well, I've worked a few in my career, both in Europe and also here in the United States. Super fun time. But here we go, guys. We're going to the wire. Spider Islands, aka my worst nightmare. I can't imagine waking up in a place called Spider Island. It's like the fear I had when I went to Australia the first time to kill you for Overwatch.
It's just Australia.
And as somebody who does not like spiders, that would I'd die. You know what? I would die. Like it wouldn't be a fun time for me whatsoever. Like if I found myself like going to Peter Jackson's version of King Kong Island, like Skull Island, I would just be like, no.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Or like you ever play that game Grounded? Where you like get shrunken down. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but like you're in the garden. Yeah, no, I had to turn the arachnophobia mode even though that one got scarier the higher the scale went. It was pretty wild.
It didn't work for me. It really
didn't work. It was still horrifying either way you look at it. That being said, though, we do like Spider-Man, I guess. Spider-Man. Yeah, we're not gonna see Spider-Man. We got trolled. We were just a little scout and went back. I was so confident in my call it. I was like tapping in a vast, you stupid fool. And then he was like, GB, you moron.
Spider Island, it's a lot like Greenland and Iceland, Like one of them's actually way more ice than the other. Like there's technically it's kind of a similar situation with Spider Islands. There's no spiders.
There's no spiders on Spider Island.
No spiders to be found really typically. I mean, technically sometimes in your ranked game you might find a Penny Parker, you might find a Spider-Man, but typically at this level, we're not running into the spiders too much. We're really not seeing it. Let's see the Human Torch get out of the way. There it is.
Like the Human Torch, who, by the way, fun little Marvel fact, really good friends with Spider-Man. I believe had a couple issues together where it was a Human Torch and Spider-Man teaming together. Fun fact.
Same with Daredevil.
So just tie it all together. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right.
Nice kitchen, baby.
I know. Actually, I'm going to be picking up a few books. So, because I've been meaning to get some Daredevil reads after watching the last season.
We love a man that reads. We love a man that reads. Now, he is reading comic books. Technically, they're kind of cheating, I think, on the reading scale a little bit, but it is reading. It does count.
There are amazing writers, okay? Do not.
It counts,
right?
but, it's on the edge.
Incredible writers.
I'd have to defend a little bit, especially like the likes of Alan Moore. How you gonna say
I'm not saying it doesn't count.
Hickman?
I'm just saying we're gonna put him against like Cormac McCarthy, a little bit different terms in the overall but it's slightly different. But overall,
this guy,
all the pretty horse,
the band,
all the pretty Spider-Man.
I was going
pop on bands, Sally.
All right.
I mean, but the thing is, there's not that much to talk about because
there really isn't.
No, not really. Back to literature talk. Let's go back to literature talk, actually. Let's just let this complete its course. Like, we're going to see the same. Probably going to see similar compositions. I mean, it's kind of just doesn't feel like anything changes for either of these squads. Because, like I said, I think stylistically, they're kind of close. So I feel like nothing really changes until we hit the last two, like, ban/protect for both these teams in terms of, like, okay, do we want to, like, drop a more targeted ban? It's just the ethos of the internet. Nothing ever happens until we get to the end, I guess, technically.
Ain't that the truth? All right. Well, yeah. And as we had mentioned before, right, a lot of this is just going to be very similar. And I also think too, this doesn't shock me, given that maybe you also don't want to give too much up, or maybe you're really just trying to prioritize what are just going to be problems for you currently. Which really, that's just what it feels like, right? It's like, let's just get rid of and protect the stuff that is an issue now, like meta-wise. Because that's where this Ignite kind of gets turned on its head. I don't think like it was made with the Human Torch being permabanded first in mind as a core part of the structure. But maybe that changes going into the next season. But here you go. No big changes, nothing wild that we're going to be seeing here. But do we see the mirror again, though? Do we maybe see them try Envy to meet 100 Thieves where they are with their compositions?
I don't think so.
I mean, all I was going to chime in and say was that I think that the other extent of this, which is why we're seeing the drafts kind of be very similar, is again that both teams are going to be extremely well versed with one another, both in competing against one another and scrimming. So they both know what each other are kind of after map over map. It feels like Envy's kind of, abandoned the little bit more of the off-meta stuff that we were seeing after their undoing on Yggdrasil Path, not leading back in towards that Hawkeye and whatnot. So I think this is just us going to stability and both teams really understanding one another.
Yeah, both teams want to win. That's what's happening here. That's it. No Hawkeye, no Storm. Instead, just going to go full-on Berserker Rage with Wolverine. Love to see it. All right, guys, let's see how this closes out. One way or another, we're going to end this thing.
All righty. Well, let's go ahead and get into it, Spider Isles, to round out this series of Ask $1,000 on the line for the winner of this map. To start, it's going to be 100 Thieves here on the defense.
And like we said, not real big changes across the board comp-wise, so expect to just watch this poking here. Expect to just see, okay, how can we remove a bubble early to set up the Wolverine and just watch the flanks. Both squads looking for some hooks. The Bionic is a little early. Speedly, though, getting pressure. Has to back on up. Has to drop the regeneration main as well. Keep him alive. As Terra going to find Kaluj there off the leap.
Okay. A solid value being delivered once again here. Courtesy of the Wolverines. Cal, though, answering one back. The lane going to be taken down. So a little bit of a trade there between the Winter Soldiers. Pull forward, not going to find much other than the bubble cooldown. So decent value still going to be found as TTK has to expend that to keep Vinny alive. And for now, opening choke, first corner going to be rounded. Envy, can they maintain the momentum is going to be the question. We'll have to rely on coming up with yet another pick, and well, there it is. Help us find one. Traded out, Vinny finding that kill, but down one, they still are going to be on the back foot.
And Envy losing a lot of ground, but trying to move on forward. Terra Cape's going to come on out, trying to find them on the wall. There's going to be Terra finding one, splitting them off, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get any picks here on the chase.
Yeah, they haven't been able to pile in. They can't get on top of Window to actually find that elimination. In the meantime, Month just getting TPs, using the copies, looking for the escape. Vinny setting up the wall, looking for the back pedal, is now on the offense here is Envy. Month getting the copy on the Cloak and Dagger, jumping forward, trying to layer in this damage here on Vinny, taking him down to half HP, but now the Root Prison going to be coming through. No ult from TTK to try to layer in on top of this, and Vinny just ends up losing his life after using the ultimate. That's going to be a rough feeling here for 100 Thieves, as this defense starting to crumble just a bit, needing to find something to try to reopen this.
And they're going to find it right there. I mean, they make it back in with the Eternal Bond. They get two off the last stand from Terra, maybe give them enough juice. However, huge last stand plus the Meteor M.
Monstrous.
Oh my lord.
Two healers eliminated. Now no way to try to sustain Vinny, who just returned here with the portal. Still in play there for a brief little moment, as they will be able to pile back in to set this up. Now in depth to try to keep the defense going, and TTK just get right in on top of Cal with that one, but Collusion Window want to pop right back into the fray with a portal of their own. Managed to arrive, and there's the cap. A ton invested from both sides, but it's Envy coming out on top.
You do not see the last stand Meteor M combo to clutch out a fight too often. That is something that we've not seen a lot of, and it's a very cool idea, because I mean everyone's stunned, locked in place. There's only one place for the Meteor M to go where everyone's at, and so Envy execute it excellently, get the first cap. Not a lot in the bank here, but you can be pretty happy, because you'd rather have nothing in the bank and get a first cap than have tons in the bank and no first cap.
Given positions here, they have to give up quite a bit of space here to the push. Looking for a kidnap, nothing going to be found there from Speedily. This turns the sights right back in towards Vinny, though. Gonna carve him down the main out, try to keep him protected. At the same time, though, Window getting the better of Terra. Fighting back as Kraken, yeah, that's just going to be a massive splash, and everybody disappears in the blink of an eye.
Love a Kraken impact, getting maximum value.
Yep, that's a pretty big one right there.
It's great. It's always fun. Everyone's in place. It's why Strangely Prisoners remain just be one of the partially why Groot has just been one of the best heroes holistically, and they can't even get a contest. Terra tries to leap on out, immediately focused, has to back out. So Envy moving forward here, Final's gonna come out on Cal, but they have the bubble, but I think not gonna make it out. Gonna get caught still given the force physics.
Yeah, nice little double juggle there, I should say. Just keeping him locked in position, not allowing for the escape to come through. Month does manage to find one, but trade up still there for 100 Thieves as they look to try to get some stability here on the defense, lock this cart in position, and for now, are able to do so. Shoving them back is, that's going to be ult invested. Nero trying to lead the charge here, open things up through the choke point. Keep things a little bit more scattered for the side of 100 Thieves as Vinny nearly going down, backpedals around the corner, just narrowly managed to stay alive. Kidnap though,
finds
here
Vinny
onto the tree.
and get caught with that. I mean, they can't get him. Delina comes on in with the Kraken impact, post the strategist ults. They're gonna break this fight right open.
Okay, well, that was very much on a knife's edge. Vinny going down. Could have been a bit of a spillover there, but solid efforts from the side of the lane to come away with these 2 kills. So for now, on the back foot are Envy, but still 3 minutes to work with. Not going to be too bad for them. Try to get this cart moving once more.
Envy here, walking on the choke, gonna give it the God Initiative early. The Eternal Bond getting stymied a little bit there on the wall, but both squads with Harvey now just answering in return as the Kraken impact caught the Strangling Prison. There's the combo. Oh my.
And this time has the resets, didn't even really get to utilize them. The previous time, everybody was just dead off the rip. Let's get that second pump. Now, that's the break forward that Envy were hoping for. Still a Meteor M in the back pocket here for the team. Vinny about to have that prison, but that's about it as far as the ults are concerned. SJP needing to get theirs online.
They likely will. They do have the Strangling Prison available. They can build up towards that combo of their own. Spoolie not going to find anyone with the initial leap. Envy here, prepared because they can just drop the Eternal Bomb potentially a little early, maybe set up the Meteor M if they want, but I imagine they'll wait here for the Strangling Prison. They want to have some options to mitigate the damage on 100 Thieves, but speedily getting caught.
Nero once again starting the Meteor M here on the combo, looking for some extra damage. Some splash, no limbs found from it, but Vinny still taken down. The Root Prison, something that doesn't have to be a concern at the moment here for the squad. Envy getting so damn close. Kalush, however, going to be taken down. Delana, look at the transfer ties of this one, but the headshots flying through from Cal. Gets the shutdown. Delana dead. Follow up there on the TTK, and this is looking great for Envy. Still a minute and 35.67 meters, and there is the wipe and the finish.
And that's a very good time. Very, very good time. I mean, getting time bank in general, to be able to complete here on this map, solid. Not quite as tough to push as usual path, but still a very hard last. So if you're Spider Islands being able to do it with a minute and a half, it's a good sign for Envy there. Cal with 10 final hits, by the way. I mean, look at that. That is nasty. Obviously, most of them set up by those combos there between him and Window. Just using the Kraken impact.
Basically, have 5 off the first Kraken impact.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good. I mean, when you put the culling effect on everyone, just immediately get the execute past that HP threshold. So it's so strong. And Envy looking extremely solid here again, just kind of taking that 100 Thieves comp and being like, actually, yeah, we're just going to play your comp better than you should. We'll play the Winter Soldier, we'll play the Wolverine, and we'll look, and with the group, we'll look damn good on it. So now, for 100 Thieves is a question of, okay, how are we going to answer this? I mean, realistically, the only way if we're not making big swaps is we just need to play the comp better.
Thieves gotta be sweating a bit there after that attack. When you have a team finished with no time bank, you can say, okay, we gotta make it to the end. We give ourselves a little bit of time. We'll be good for OT. Now you're saying, well, a minute 34. We need to try to beat that, but also just make it to the end generally. Envy onto the defense. No comp swaps in sight. Continuing to play what has been working.
Here's the first bit of offense here around the corner. 100 Thieves trying to put Terra up onto the high ground. Have him get it set up here for the leap. Envy just holding pretty aggressively, gonna make sure to poke out that geometry a bit. Yeah, I mean they're using the destructible environments a bit, making sure there's no place for him to sit. They're doing like anti-Wolverine architecture, just a tad.
Perchless Wolverine. Well, sees one, tries to go in for it, but not quite gonna get the nab there. Blue's playing elusively. Good damage across though, but Window will not be taken down.
Your powers are mine.
Well, team just poking.
There is Month going in for the copy. Laying out the red mist here. As speedily shoving them back. You can see as Terra does go down. Just the respect having to be shown here by 100 Thieves. Going to be a little bit of a slower start. Already a minute taken away.
100 Thieves struggling a bit so far. Envy not giving them any free space here. Just continuing to keep the contest up, continue to fight this choke, denying a lot of the architecture for Terra to get set up at all. Forcing the Eternal Bomb from SJP, just going to make them come in.
Kraken Impact's available here for both of these Winter Soldiers. Who pulls the trigger first is going to be the question. Meteor M coming out here. TTK looking to try to deliver the goods, but kill not to be found quite just yet. As Delana has the pop, has a reset. Window going to be taken down. That's the Vanguard's now gone. A third kill found as Nero will fall. And that's the exact breakthrough fight that 100 Thieves desperately needed. But has it come a little bit too late is my question, just given the time bank, because they still have to make it to the end of the map, and they haven't yet made it to the first checkpoint.
And they only have one ult now. They have one ult now, and Envy going to be able to walk in here with plenty of ults of their own. Just, okay, we have mitigation ult. We have plenty of ways to remove you from the point here. Tons of pressure here going on to Terra. Just find potentially an opening pick to get some value in the last stand. And immediately, leap, found, caught, and that's exactly what you not want to see happen for 100 Thieves.
No, absolutely not. They're so close to trying to get this checkpoint, but one of the few ultimates they had available, actually the only one that they had available, just hit the floor dead. Immediately able to stay alive. And right now, Envy have pole position in closing out this series in pretty much every facet.
And 100 Thieves in a last fight situation here, really, because by the time I guess they'll have a Stalker's Range portal too as well. So, okay, using the last stand, just open up on the fight there for 100 Thieves, just taking it completely out of LOS.
Okay, well, they're able to find one. Window gone. Gives them an opportunity here. Meteor M doesn't get much either. In the back they go, but, oh, speedily just turning the tides, able to find Terra. Now Benny gonna be gone. Dives in, looking for a little bit more. Out for blood, and it shall be shed. Comes up with TTK, and that's now going to be under a minute remaining. 100 Thieves need the full reset. Envy threatening the full hold here on Spider Islands to close it out.
And now this is the actual last fight. And interestingly enough, I'm going to call it for production. If 100 Thieves loses here, this is identical to how they lost the Shroud Gauntlet as well. I mean, Spider Islands, attack, like
Their
literally just repeating history. Yeah, just repeating history here.
Cal just making this toss lead at every twist and turn. TTK cannot die. That Sager would basically seal the deal. As now he's going to get pulled back in, immediately goes to the Meteor M, taking to the skies, looking to try to turn the tides, but Vinny is instead going to be the target. It speedily finds that elimination. Waiting for the Groot to respawn now. Terra back in the fray, but needs to find something and needs to find it ASAP. But there's realistically just no access here.
TTK is going to have to touch. More than likely, they're going to have TTK go for the touch. Leap comes out, forces the Eternal Bond. They have to make sure they have one tank here going for the touch. It's going to be TTK. Vinny's going to make their way back here.
And the dead, the overtime now ticking. There's the Kraken impact up and over the top. The shield is just denying as much as humanly possible here. Trying to stop Delana from getting these resets, from getting that value. Sun coming through. Terra alt now out. Cal trying to bring an end to this one. His own Kraken impact pop. This month finds one. Harvey dead. Delana going to be eliminated. Cart in control. Overtime bleeding down. Envy looking to bring this to a conclusion. Just 3 players left standing, and TTK is no longer one of them. There is the closeout. History doth repeat itself, Avast, as it is a full hold coming through. Envy rough around the edges throughout this set, but finding perfection when it matters the most. They get 3-0 on the final map, 3-2 to close the series. They are our Rivals Fight Night champions this week.
Hey.
I mean, again? They did it again? Speaking of the agains, I can't believe history just repeated itself. I mean, are we back at the Shroud Gauntlet? GB, did it never finish? Is it still going? Is this the end of this tournament?
Yeah, here we are. Oh, wow. This tournament is over. It's yeah, I mean, you know, even though it was a 3-0 end for the Shroud Gauntlet, this one 3-2, just the fact that it ended that way, excuse me, clear, right on the money, same area, same everything. Yeah, a little deja vu, but, you know, love to see it. Envy get the win. And, you know, we might as well, I don't know if we're ready to go to announce our MVP. Hopefully we will in a little bit. But because I think we all know who it'll end up being. But before we do the MVP announcement, yeah, I just want to really talk about, like, how good this, like, it looked like it was curtains, Achilleos, for Envy. It looked like they didn't really know where they wanted to try and pivot, and then they did so, and they did so beautifully.
They really did. And I thought that, you know, granted, I didn't know the deep lore. I hadn't gotten to watch the Shroud of Gauntlet there, but it felt like they were going to be, you know, backs against the wall, unable to fight back, because you're going into your opponent's map pick to try to round it out when, you know, 100 Thieves previously, when it was theirs, they were finding the wins. And they were just looking so damn clean. But apparently, history just repeats itself. You go to Spider Islands, it turns out not going to be the greatest selection here in the end, and that Envy just has a gorgeous read. Everyone pretty much across the board here playing damn near perfect Marvel.
Yeah, really. In a vast, this NV team found ways to pivot mid-series so effectively, but also, like, you know, 100 Thieves, I mean, it needs to be said, like, I think you run these games back and, you know, you're going to see toss-up results, right? Because they're just so close to one another.
I think if you run the simulations again, probably you'll see, play enough of them, that 100 Thieves definitely is going to win a couple of those for sure. It definitely was just based off, like, the pivot, like you called out, where Envy, they played some pretty unique comps starting out, and they're like, you know what if we just mirror? We're just going to take the comp, we're going to play the Wolverine. Wolverine's so powerful right now still because it's such a genre-defining, just comp-defining hero, because you kind of have to play a Magneto if you're playing into a Wolverine, and you kind of have to have Magneto if you're playing with a Wolverine, typically. So it kind of forces the rest of the composition from there on out. So I do think that's so crucial there for Envy, just making that swap and showing the flexibility of this roster again.
And
first-time champions.
Something that you'll see, well, first-time champions for Envy, but what was it, the last, 6 champs or so, all new faces?
Yeah,
no one's been able to hold on. It's basically the anti-EU. Like, if EU is a sacred timeline, right, where, like, VP just dominates, like, we are definitely NA is a fork in the multiverse. For sure, a thread that needs to be handled, maybe an incursion, if you will. So, you know, I think there's some good Marvel references in there, and that's good writing as well. Like Avast, all right, it's good writing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But you know what? You can't write this one. Is our MVP a bit? You couldn't predict it. No writer could.
It was pre-written.
It was
pre-written in the stars.
It was speedily. I mean, this guy, he does it all. I mean, he's played so many different heroes for this Envy roster so far, and he's a pretty new addition. And now pulling out a Wolverine, which is something I'm pretty sure I have not seen Speedily play that much Wolverine in the past, if any. And so being able to mirror it against 100 Thieves, which is a team that's really been good at the Wolverines here in North America, it's just another great addition to the squad, another great addition to the hero pool of him in general.
Yeah, it's been, his add to the team has been nothing short of amazing for Envy. Exactly what you would want out of a new pickup. Just the value that he has provided Achilleos for this squad. I mean, it just gives him so many options, especially with that deep hero pool that he has.
Just seeing the pivots having to come through. I mean, the Storm earlier on versus, like, Shroud X, etc. Like, that was all so damn clean. He was in contention for winning MVP in that first series here for NA. But he's able to very much secure it with a performance here versus 100 Thieves. And, I think for 100 Thieves, this is going to be a little bit of a bummer, not being able to get that revenge after the 3-0 sweep. They at least make it a little bit more contentious. It was looking good for them, but this last map of Spider Isles, I mean, this was basically like watching, like, Evo Moment 37. Like, every single thing that they were trying to do, the parry was in. They were just able to block everything. And counteracted on this defense. It was just gorgeous from Envy, and Speedily was a huge part of that.
And that is why he is your MVP. So congratulations once again to Speedily, your RFN NA MVP. And congratulations to both of our winning teams, of course. VP over in the EU side kind of feels like it's, but of course, the gentleman.
It's destiny. It's just destiny.
Exactly. So the tip of the hats for VP, and of course for our new RFN champs, 3-2. It's Envy, fresh off of a win from the Shroud Gauntlet, showing that they surely can run it back to back. And we want to let everyone know that, if you're still tuning in here, thank you so much for still sticking with us. And also, don't forget about the giveaway. Go in the chat. I'm gonna type it in right now so that this way people can get a head start. Giveaway! ! I'm a mod now, so I have the powers. So yeah, I typed that in. So go click on rivalsfightnight.com. Scroll down to the widget. Go ahead and click it. Take you over to gleam.io. And you just go ahead and check the little boxes. You know, Achilles, have you done it yet? Have you checked your little boxes? You're not gonna win, but you got to check your.
Put him on the spot. Put him on the spot here.
I mean, look, I think that I'm not the wealthiest man, but I'm comfortable in my living. I don't need to take a CPU away from somebody who could otherwise,
You're not going to win. We got to.
I'm stuffing the ballot box. I'm stuffing the ballot box myself.
GB's sitting on his coffers of wealth in his Los Angeles mansion. He's just like, yes, I'm going to enter the giveaway and try to win a CPU and take it from all of the poors.
Take it from the children. No, don't worry. None of us are winning. But get out there. Make sure you.
One of you will. Let's clarify that.
I'll be winning.
Win.
I'll be winning.
We are not winning as the casters.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. We not winning. Not winning. No one here win. Not me. I would never do that. Achilles, how dare you? No, but seriously, make sure you get out there, do that. Also, just want to get everyone, on the radar. Meet and greet. DreamHack Dallas, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can go ahead and compete in some money matches against the Envy Boys. It'll be pretty fun. DreamHack's always a good time. Lots of cool things to do there. So if you happen to be there, and you'll also get to meet Avast and ZP from Rivals Fight Night. Hexagrams will be there too. You know that guy who drops horrible Marvel incorrect things in the chat? That guy.
You're summoning it now.
He's so offended. He's so offended by this.
I know he knows better, because he knows better. I'm kidding. No, but seriously, you'll go ahead and meet the crew there. You meet Envy. You have a good time. Play some rivals meet some friends. It's always a plus. So check it out. And we, of course, thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. Long day, but we're signing out. Any last words before we close out? I don't know how Puckett does this. So what do you want me to do?
Like kind of crude, or maybe he'll blast an air horn into like the microphone or something. That's typically kind of his angle. So maybe if you have something around that angle, like a firecracker you can pop off, like that. Kind of Puckett-esque.
Don't have that around. You would think with all the crap I have behind me, I'd have like something that blows up, but no, I don't. What a shame, man. Really got to get that checked out. Achilles, you have something behind you that blows up? I don't know. It looks like that. Timo in the back might blow up. Can we blow that up?
Yeah, I mean, don't it was a gift, but screw Timo. But not good to be back. Another week of fight night in the books. I'm gonna have to get settled.
Yeah, of course. All right, folks.
Was that the Puckett air horn? Did they just play that? Play that through the feeds? I think that was the Puckett.
I have no idea.
Vacuum. I'm pretty sure that was the Puckett vacuum noise. They just put it on the screen.
Wait, did Puckett have a vacuum? It's just
he take like a vacuum and just like vacuum his mic or something. I don't know why he's doing that, but he's doing it.
Christopher Elizabeth Puckett, everyone. We miss you, buddy. You can actually catch him over at DreamHack as well, I believe, or he's doing some Call of Duty stuff this week. So, but in any case, folks, that's going to do it for us. Big shout out to the RFM production team for always kicking all the butts, and a big thank you to all the teams that participated here today. Team Peps, Team 1, VP, you got Envy, ShroudX for coming in hot and saving the day. So big shout out to you guys. And of course, 100 Thieves. What a day this was. It was a pleasure to do my first RFN. I was so nervous about this, but I'm glad it worked out. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And of course, you guys, see you next week for some more Rivals Fight Night. Don't forget about Deadlock Fight Night. All the good stuff happening here at the Fight Night crew. And we will see you next time. Take care.